Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, March the 25th, 2014, and this is Slashplayed Podcast. I'll be your host, RJ. Here with me is Keith. Say hi, Keith.
Hi, Keith.
Also here with me is Dustin.
Yep.
I didn't say to say shit to you.
I don't care.
You never do.
No, I almost sometimes.
No, you always go, and also Dustin, and Dustin goes, yup. That's kind of his thing now.
So hey, what's up?
I'm an independent character, RJ.
Listen, I'm an independent woman. I buy my own shoes.
I take off my own clothes.
That's why you're a single lady.
All the single ladies.
None of the single ladies.
Why won't anybody just put a ring on it? It's okay.
Listen, a 7 will get you paid, right? So it's enough to
because you don't
out
want
of
no
10.
scrubs.
Because scrubs ain't gonna get no loves from me.
I wonder if that's like a super sexual song for like nurses and stuff. It's no, I don't want no scrubs. It's just like it's their like, yeah, bitch, get naked song.
You know, in a weird, convoluted way, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Except it would be like, no, I just want scrubs.
No, but you don't want scrubs because they're
I
wearing
see,
them.
I see.
Nudies.
I thought you meant like sponge baths. So
No,
but you
no.
meant actual scrubs.
Like
Yeah.
a uniform.
Got it.
Yeah.
I thought we were still doing words that meant other things, not just words that were actually blatantly the word, like scrub.
You're a scrub.
Anyway,
Yep.
so what's uppers, guys?
Caffeine's an upper.
Let's talk about all these people who have died.
Aww.
Be a bummer.
Actually, I kind of saw something interesting
I don't want to
today.
talk about any of the people that died.
The dude from the Westboro Baptist Church that died.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
I
was at a show on a Wednesday. It's kind of hard to avoid.
People were
Lord,
really.
that was fucking.
People
fun.
were yeah, no shit.
This is me shaking my head.
People were raging like about we should protest his funeral and blah blah blah.
Like they do.
Slayer actually was just like, we should totally protest this.
Well, yeah, I mean it's obviously the first thought because it's what they did, but the first protest that Westboro Baptist Church has done since his death, a bunch of people went out to counter protest, and instead of being like assholes about it, they were just like, we're sorry for your loss and like live an awesome life. And stuff like that, like
that's the
like
kind of
like
shit,
kill them with kindness.
That's the kind of shit I wanted to see from like the community after what's his fuck died.
Yeah, me too.
Because hate spreads hate, man. Like fucking, just because they're a bunch of fucking cockbags doesn't mean you should be.
Word.
like it's, which is ironic because in relation to Slayer saying they're going to protest his funeral, Dave Rocky, another person that passed away, that was actually more depressing for me.
Yeah, no, that was incredibly depressing.
He actually posted on Twitter in response to Slayer doing that, going, "Dude, hate spreads hate, guys." And I was just like, "You are a classy spaceman with a giant penis."
It's true.
And then I found out he died, and literally woke up. I woke up at like 10, found out he died, and was like, "Nope, going back to bed. This is a dream." Went back to bed, woke up at 1:30, and I was like, "God damn."
The very first thing
and then
I thought
Ralph
about,
Wilson died today.
Who the fuck's Ralph Wilson?
Owner of the Bills.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit?
I do.
Bills fans.
You know, guys that don't want them to end up in L.A.
You know, masochists.
Oh, they're still trying to do that, aren't they?
With somebody.
Gross.
They already got enough.
Listen, you can't put the Buffalo Bills in L.A. They're the only New York team.
It's true. You can't really put them anywhere.
Like, they're the only team that actually plays in New York. That'd be fucked up.
Yep.
Like, and there's already California teams.
Like, three of them.
Exactly. And there's no
Oakland,
other
San
state. There's no
Francisco,
state
San
that
Diego,
has
San
more
Diego.
than 3. Florida has 3.
has
Texas
3,
has
Texas has
2.
2.
Yeah, Florida. I think Florida and California
technically,
got
New
it.
York only has 1.
Yeah.
Jersey has 2.
Yep.
Assholes.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Jersey Jets and Jersey Giants. It's called alliteration. You should really use it as a marketing thing.
Except Giants is spelled with a G.
Doesn't matter. It's alliteration.
Phonetically,
It's the
it's
sound.
an alliteration.
Listen, we'll fight about how alliteration works later.
It's phonetic alliteration. Eat my dick.
No.
Yeah.
I got him on this one.
No.
It sounds
Anyways.
clever, so it's clever.
Hey, Keith, you got stuff to talk about. Let's
I
talk
got
about
a shit ton to talk about.
what you got to talk
I got
about.
some
What you
too.
been playing, man.
Dave Rocky died.
Aww. I'm gonna be sad every
You
time.
know what I can say though?
At least you got splooged before he died.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking too.
I saw Guar 4 times, and the last time I saw him, he splooged in my mouth, and I spit it back at him. So you're welcome, Dave Brocky.
Great. Anyways,
you're a cool man. But yeah,
now he's a cool body.
Aww.
What's cooler than being cool?
Dead.
Ice cold.
Punch you right in your fucking mouth. You don't make funny jokes and puns about something like that. Make it about everything else.
Dude.
Give it a couple of days.
I was gonna say, dude, the
this
body's
was
still
literally
warm.
2
Jesus.
days ago.
Listen, you should see the picture
body's still
that I
warm.
took at Panera that said confirmed Malaysia Flight 370 found because we made a paper airplane and put it in the remains of my sandwich, and then the next day apparently they found it and they're all dead. So guess what?
They didn't actually find it. They just pinpointed it to a spot.
That was a week ago. This was literally 2 days ago.
Yeah, this picture was literally 2 days ago.
No, I'm saying the Malaysia thing was a while ago.
It started like a week ago.
Yeah.
They're still talking about it.
Well, yeah, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Although everybody at the barbershop I go to is completely convinced that somebody's hijacked the plane, they're currently loading it with bombs and trying to ship it somewhere to get it repainted.
Dude.
Because they're a bunch of, like, old...
Yeah, that sounds like a barbershop.
They're a bunch of old-school Republicans.
Listen. Let's be honest here. Let's talk about the theory that nobody else is talking about.
They're hanging out with Tupac in Cuba.
Nope. Aliens.
Really? People are talking about that theory?
Aliens.
Aliens.
Nobody's talking about the aliens.
I was just thinking, like, fuck you, History Channel.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody that...
Just that one guy.
Yeah, that just one guy. Fuck him.
With the tan and the ridiculous haircut. The ridiculous lack of a haircut.
Yeah, he needs one.
So, hey, Keith, what's actually going on?
Got a PS4 last week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It went great.
Yeah.
I'm super happy with my purchase.
How good's that controller feel?
Oh, it's so great.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah, I like both of the new ones. They both feel amazing.
Yeah, once I get used to the kind of Air Bunny's build quality of the Xbox Ones, totally passable.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great controller.
What's really awesome about it for me is that the grips are on the sides. You know where
it's got the divots
where
in the middle?
where your 2, 3, and 4 finger go,
or maybe that.
Are not. It's not beveled in like the Xbox 360's was. It's flat like the old Duke's was.
Yeah.
So you've got an actual firm support.
Yeah. That's one thing
when you're playing.
That's
and
one thing
even
I like.
though the controller. Oh man,
that's one thing I like about
good.
the PS4 controller, and something we talked about before. How it's instead of it coning in like the PS3s did, so it had like that wedgy feel in your hand where you could easily just go and it'd pop out. It's actually coning out, so it has like a very solid feel to it.
Nice.
It's a little smaller, which is great for my hands.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. As far as the operating system though, it's butter, dude. It's so butter. Like, because I've fucked around with the Xbox Ones, quite a bit, and it's about as like latency wise. It's still, to me, it's still a bunch of fucking squares. Like, I don't like Xbox's UI at all.
Yeah.
But latency wise, it's comparable to the 360. Like, it's relatively responsive.
Okay.
PS4 is like snap. Like, fucking, what's great about the PS4 is in game you hit the PS menu and it brings up the entire home screen.
That's what the Xbox does.
Yeah, which is the Xbox does now too.
What's actually really cool about it that I found is that I can bypass 90% of the UI with console commands. So I just tell it to do something and it completely bypasses any of the bullshit.
You can totally tell the Xbox One is more optimized for Kinect.
Oh yeah,
it was bundled with it. For
yes,
they want you to go snap and then take me fucking Netflix go.
Yeah, snap my Netflix so that way I can play Titanfall and watch Netflix at the same time. Thank you, Xbox. I love you. Like, I mean, that's
snap my Netflix.
That's definitely what it's definitely what it was built for.
Yeah,
and it works pretty well.
Yeah, it works pretty well. The only complaint I have about it right now, and it's minute.
Yeah.
Is there is a standby feature, but it's not automatic.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's just like the old Xbox.
Yeah.
You can set it.
Right. You got to hold down the PlayStation button. You can't turn off the console by just hitting the face button. They actually prefer you not do that because
Weird.
It's similarly architected like a computer. Nobody wants you to hard reset your computer.
Whoops.
But you got to hold down the PlayStation button. I mean, if you can.
Actually, no. I take that back. I'm typically in my
thanks,
bed.
Darren, for interrupting the podcast.
Put your phone on vibrate like the rest of us sane people.
Yep.
What's cool Wait, like you said,
Yeah.
most people are turning it off from the controller anyways. I've been doing that with the Xbox for years.
I've been doing it from bed because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's really late. I should go to bed. And then by the time I get back to the bed, I'm like, shit, the Xbox is still on. Xbox, bloop.
Yep.
Because I actually turned the voice commands for on and off.
So
that way
can go
nobody
Xbox
can be an
on
asshole.
or Xbox off
Right.
like mid-game and fuck with, yeah.
Because I have siblings who are douchebags.
Yep.
Who, actually, I haven't seen since I got the console.
But the standby feature is they're patching it in. But as it stands right now with my current build, but it just patched, so it might have patched it already. I'm unaware. Is if you just leave the console idle, it just stays on.
Right.
Which doesn't bother me much, except the controller also doesn't automatically turn off. So I've woken up with dead controllers before, but it's no big. It's a pass-through charger, so something the Xbox doesn't do.
Actually, I like Xbox's new charger system because it's just a micro USB.
Well, yeah, that
And fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I can plug it into my already existing plugs. Yeah, no, that's
Did
pretty
you get
great.
the rechargeable batteries? For
I
yours?
did not.
Okay.
I'm gonna burn through my original batteries first.
The one thing that still always bugged me about like the transition, well, not really the transition, but like the switch or the difference between Xbox and PlayStation, even back in last generation, the Xbox still AA's and Sony was just like, well, we're gonna have a wireless controller, but it's rechargeable.
Right.
And I was like, cool, Sony's thinking ahead.
Until your controller dies and then it's dead forever.
So what?
Right.
Until the batteries don't take a charge and then it's dead forever unless you plug it in.
See, the difference though is that will only happen if like overcharging and stuff like that. That will only happen if you plug it into a wall.
Huh.
If you plug it into a current that's coming from a USB from like a PC or a console,
Right.
it's all pass through. It cuts off when it's fully charged.
Huh.
They've been doing that for years.
I mean, the Xbox was having that.
Listen, I didn't have to charge my PlayStation 2 controllers, so I don't know nothing about this newfangled.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still. And they bundled it with a longer cord than the PS3's rechargeable cord.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I don't know why Xbox is so apprehensive about jumping on that ship. It's not a huge deal. I was just always curious.
Apprehensive.
It gives you the option to use
whatever.
It gives you the option to use regular batteries if you choose.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
and
I can just plug my fucking controller in.
I mean,
While
I've got
the console is off, what is nice feature about the PS4, when the console is off, controller will still charge.
right.
So
I've got
at night when I turn it off, I plug it in, set it on top of the PlayStation. Good.
rechargeable batteries that I've already got in house, so I can just put rechargeable batteries in my controller.
And most people that didn't want to get like a charge and play
Right.
for the Xbox just went ahead and just got Energizer rechargeable.
Exactly. The actually, you know what is interesting? Now that we're talking about that, I got the Titanfall controller, last one in town. Got lucky. It was basically a deal between me and Josh. Josh needed a new phone, so I sold him my old one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
that happened. That bugged me.
Yeah, and he sold me, or he basically bought me a Titanfall controller.
Right.
Well, as such, I open up the package when I get home, and I pull the controller out, and I pull the batteries out, and I search through the rest of the box, and there's no battery back. There's no controller back. And I was like, what the fuck? So I called GameStop, and I was like, dude, the guy that I typically go to was there. I was like, dude, this controller that you just sold me has no back. And he was like, that's really weird. And I was like, that's what I said. And he was like, just come to the store, I'll give you another one. Like another battery pack, because obviously, or pack back, because there was no, there wasn't another Titanfall controller literally in Wilmington.
Right.
And so I went, and he opens up another controller and pulls out the back, and he goes, it's cool, I've got tons of these at home from when I switched over to the plug-and-play kit, or the play-and-charge kits.
Yeah.
Like, so I've got a bunch of these at home, I'll just bring it back, put it in, and retape it up. It'll be fine. So
He shall not be named on this podcast.
Well, it was pretty cool. It was very much an employee going above and beyond what he actually had to do to make sure that I was taken care of.
Right.
And he did it in such a way where it wasn't like extraneous for anyone.
Detrimental.
And that was cool.
Yeah, it's not like he had to like order a new one from factory. Or
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, they couldn't.
Right. It's done.
They discontinued them.
That was quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were only out for the release.
Yeah, for the bundle and the drop of the game.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of
the
nice. I like that.
The fall of the game.
Shut up. You get no puns today. Not after last time.
The Titanfall.
I'm gonna punch you.
I'm actually kind of sad that the console didn't come Titanfall awesome, because that would have been really dope.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm not upset about it.
We have silver Sharpies around here. I could let you write Titanfall on the side of it.
No, I like that white and orange color scheme. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like the white, orange, and black works really well together, and I like it.
Sure, we can go buy some paint.
I mean, I work at a paint store.
Sure, we can go buy some paint.
Yeah. But I mean, I actually have white and black. Not the point. Anyway.
Yeah, I have white and black spray paint at the house.
Yeah.
For making my best.
Yep.
We
But yeah, the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. So controller, really stupid, cool. It's
Yeah.
like and
Is it stupid
Have you
fresh,
used-
though?
it's funky fresh.
Have you used
All right.
the center pad
The
much?
touchpad?
Yeah.
Get into it.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome.
Once we start talking about the games that I've played.
Oh, okay.
really there.
That's what I was.
Yeah,
Figuring,
one thing
but
that
I
bugged
wanted
me
to make
though
sure.
is during the demo version.
Wait, you use this controller to play games?
Yes, RJ.
Okay.
This is a new thing for RJ. He uses a keyboard and a mouse.
Occasionally picks up his controller
It's true.
when he's playing NBA,
I need a new mouse.
and that's about it.
Nah,
But-
I use it for other stuff.
So that was really awesome. The response,
Like my beta invite to GTA 5. We'll get to that later in the news. With the thing that you still shouldn't believe exists.
okay, just making sure you're trolling.
Yep.
There's a potential
Okay.
release date.
I was gonna say because I'm literally going to punch you
No.
because I held out as long as I could on that fucking game, and finally I just hijacked a buddy's Xbox. But
Yeah, no, that's not a real thing.
I would hope not. The console itself's relatively aesthetically pleasing. I wasn't a huge fan of Xbox's black box, and I'm honestly not a huge fan of the PS4. The way it looks, because it's just mostly because of that gloss black finish.
Yeah, I hate it.
Gloss black finishes.
Mhm.
I used to have a guitar like that, and I was so anal about that fucking guitar that
I just want to run my finger down the side of my nose and just like sign my name on it.
Yeah, man. At the moment somebody does that, I'm gonna brick them with it and buy a new one. But
I'm gonna brick it with them and buy a new one.
we the user interface, the interaction between popping in and popping out is like super fucking snap. Which PlayStation kind of cheats because it has two processors.
Well, right.
It has one for all of the normal stuff and then one for background tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Super awesome. It can download and play online at the same time. That was
Nice. That's really cool.
That was very refreshing. I was fucking people up on Killzone and downloading the Blacklight Retribution demo or a beta at the same time. Because that used to bug the fuck out of me.
Yeah, you have to sit and wait for your download.
Or sacrifice waiting 6 hours later.
I
after you're done playing the game.
typically just put a download on before I'm going to bed.
Right.
You know, that's the most sound piece of advice.
Even on my internet connection, I didn't see any huge latency issues by letting my console do that because I was playing online on Shadowfall, Killzone Shadowfall, The Fall of Shadows, and I was still getting good latency. As far as the console itself, like I said, the only things I have issues are really nitpicky. It seems real. I got lucky and wasn't the 2% that came bricked on arrival.
Yeah,
That's good.
Wasn't the 2% that got one that the disk drive didn't work.
That's
I
good.
was
Also good.
I was also one of the 2% that didn't have a buggy HDMI port. So
So you are the 64% or the 94%.
I am the
There you go.
94%, which was great because I was really nervous when I
Yeah.
first bought it. I was like, man, because I never buy consoles at launch specifically for those reasons.
Yeah.
And but I just had I was sitting at Walmart, and
Like you do.
because it was 12, it was midnight, and I wanted a PS3 because I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 5
Right.
and the
I remember
Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 remake.
Yeah,
It was while we were joking around about the Titanfall bundle.
right. Which I was actually purchasing at the time.
Right. And then the next night, I just legitimately decided I'm just going to do it.
Right.
Because I already talked myself into it. And when I got to the Walmart in the Midtown Walmart,
Right.
they were just like, the only PS3 we have is the 12 gig. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would I even consider purchasing a console with 12 gigs? Especially, upgradable hard drive if you buy an extra bracket. No, I'm okay, thanks. So I was like, call the one in Monkey Junction. And they're just like, all right. So they called him, and they had the Move bundle for $300. It's a 320 gig hard drive, $300. You get the Move included, which Move has some interesting things that I just like to.
Just the one controller though.
It comes with the standard PC or the standard PlayStation controller, and I think only one Move controller.
You can play golf.
Does it come with the sub controller?
Right.
You can play Tiger's PGA Tour.
Yes, they all come.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I've been able to still do Move things with them, but so I got there. I was like, all right, fuck it. Everybody in the car. I was with Greg and James.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the car. We're driving to Monkey Junction. They're like, seriously? I was like, I want my PlayStation. So we drove out to Monkey Junction. And I got there and I found it and I was like, cool. And then I just happened to glance over the side. Right next to it was 3 PS4s, and I was like, huh.
And they're only $100 more.
Yep. And that was my thought process. I was like, it's only $100, and I'm getting more console.
Yep.
Less games, but more console.
Sure.
It's more console.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I will definitely.
It can render natively in 1080p.
Yeah.
It's more console.
That's the one thing that I was actually really surprised by is when I sat down and started playing Titanfall on the day after launch because I had to work the next day.
The servers were relatively stable.
And the servers were incredibly stable.
Which
Like, I
is
had
surprising
absolutely
for a big
no
launch
problem
like
with it. And RJ walks in and he goes, "Damn, that is a next generation console." Because
that looked like video games.
Yeah,
how video games should look.
Yeah. I mean, it was clean. It was really nice.
And it was
I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, that could come out on my PC.
Yep, which it did. So I was really and I was mostly just finagling because obviously I did the day one update and stuff like that. And I was just really super impressed with the UI because they got rid of all of the bullshit from the PS3, which was that like media bar,
the cross media bar.
Yeah. The cross media bar, and which was okay, but it wasn't super intuitive. Mostly because it didn't have like visual representation of what you were doing.
Sure.
Because at that point, I was relatively used to the way the Xbox worked. The PS4 is different enough to where it's not like, hey, we're just copying the fucking squares from Microsoft, but it's still intuitive. There's some kind of backdoor stuff you have to get to like Netflix and stuff, like because they have like your separate media options like the Xbox, where it's like game, video, stuff like that.
Okay.
Same with the PS3. And then it comes down, and then it shows like your advertisements, and then your apps, and then you have to, but the apps only shows like recommended apps, and then download that shit. But once you download it, the Netflix is still part of. It doesn't separate into a separate menu. It's part of that recommended app circle, but instead of saying download, it just says start. So it's not huge, just nitpicky stuff.
Sure.
I haven't had any major problems. The console like locked up on me once, but that's because I was my internet kept dropping out because I was. And
I actually had a lockup too, believe it or not.
It wasn't liking that.
Brand new consoles having lockups, no way.
Yeah.
But the first game I bought for it, which I bought the same day I got it, was Killzone Shadowfall.
Okay.
And the reason why I really am happy with that purchase is because it was wonderful to show the horsepower of the console.
Sure.
Like, that game is fucking shiny.
Yeah.
That is a sexy fucking game.
Yeah.
A little lens flary. J.J. Abrams would be proud. And by proud, I mean he probably did the lighting in that game. Because it gets bad. Like, one time I was sneaking up behind an enemy shoulder because the stealth kills are super satisfying. And he had like a little like light on the back of all his combat gear. And like the closer I got to him, the more that fucker was just like, shink! Until like I couldn't see him because of the fucking lens flare.
No, it's active camouflage.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Active blindaflage.
Well, I stabbed him, he's dead, and I have to worry about it anymore.
Well, there you go.
But then I actually started playing the game, and after I was done Googling at it for a little bit, after I was done oogling its dirty bits.
Sure.
And the game really surprised me. I was surprised about how good it was.
Yeah.
All the way up until about the halfway to 3/4 way point.
It's always that last third.
Yep. Because it took a very new approach to your standard modern FPS formula. They basically said, here's a map, here's a list of stuff you can do, go do it. Here's the narrative behind it, all that fun bit. Just go do whatever to get it done.
Kind of like Rage?
A little more linear than Rage. There are separate maps and areas. It's not like a open thing. But each time you get dropped into a map, it's not hand-holding. It's not corridor shooting.
Right.
It goes, you need to disable this tower, rescue these guys, and blow up this jet. Pick any way and pick any method and order.
It's like the old Spec Ops game.
How much backtracking would you do over the course of the map? Is it 0?
For the first 2 levels, there's a little bit during the initial area, because basically one of the first levels is like this open fieldy thing. You got to go rescue these guys. They got their helicopter crashed.
Okay.
For that area, there's 3 objectives within that area, so there's obviously going to be a backtracking. But it's not like it. But because it's so open, it's not like you're going through, like going down a hallway, getting this, then going back up the hallway.
Okay.
The method for which you choose to get to any of those objectives is completely up to you, and the method you choose to execute any of those objectives is plenty up to you. You can go in running, gunning, grenading, and blazing, or you can be ninja super stealth.
Right. I was going to say, I'm fairly certain it's not going to turn out like this, but did you play any Dishonored?
A little bit.
Where it's like, big open maps, navigate how you want. Would you compare it to that at all?
A little bit for the first bit of it.
Okay.
Once you get into structures, it's a little harder to pull that off.
Sure.
Obviously.
Right.
But in the bigger maps where you can just basically do whatever, it does it pretty well. It's pretty satisfying.
Okay.
That reminds me a lot of that Spec Ops game. Like, it was an old PlayStation Spec Ops game, and you got dropped into you could play it 1 or 2 player, and you got dropped into a zone, and you had like 3 missions you had to complete, and you could do them in whatever order you wanted.
Right.
And your equipment varied. You couldn't stealth kill people because still PlayStation 1.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of similar.
Metal Gear Solid did it.
Well, Metal Gear Solid did it, sure, but this was like a combat first-person shooter.
You're shooting things. You're
shooting way bang, bang. Early on, yeah.
And the visuals throughout were really, especially at the end of the first mission, where you basically, the first mission was the tech demo they did.
Oh wow!
At the end, there's that long bridge that just explodes, and there's that end statue that fucking shatters and shit.
Right.
The entire, I was like, what? I was like, man, this is awesome.
So, remind me, which console, because you guys own one of each, which console's the one that's got the rumble and the triggers?
The Xbox.
Yeah,
it feels good, real good, Doug.
The DualShock 4 uses the standard 4. It uses 4 motors instead of 2 this time, but it still only uses limited motor capacity. What's actually really cool, brief note, now I'll get back to Killzone. Forza 5, terrible game. Interaction between the controller and your hands while you're driving a car, super great. Because the rumble's in the controllers. Ooh. So when you're braking, you feel brake stutter on your brake finger.
That's awesome.
It's cool. I definitely felt more attuned to the road, and then the rest of the game completely shit the bed. But about the halfway point in Killzone, you have to go, this game's been out for a while, fuck spoilers. You have to go across the wall. Basically what happened at the end of the last Killzone, Helgen got nuked. Helgen being the space Nazis, the bad guys. So they just, the Vectans let them move into Vecta. So they basically built an entire wall around this humongous city and said, this half is for Helgens, this half's for Vectans. This is New Helgen, this is Vecta.
So East and West Berlin.
Exactly. That's a very, very common comparison. There's a lot of Cold War-inspired themes in this game, actually.
Just to go up a chair.
Yeah. So you get snuck into New Helgen as a refugee because you're trying to find a link. You're trying to get to an informant to find this global terrorist dude. And that's when the game kind of takes a step back and devolves back into corridor shooting. That's because New Helgen is this giant industrial city versus Vecta having like plain areas and stuff like that. So it kind of devolved back down into corridor shooting.
How different is the does it go from big flowery open areas to like dark gritty, this is gray and brown?
Yeah, especially because the color palette they chose for each faction, which was prevalent in other games, but because of the PS4's hardware, they emphasized it, and it was really awesome. Vecta is more of like a whitey, light bluey kind of peoples. Helgen, obviously, is black and red.
Okay.
So the difference is jarring once you go over to New Helgen and realize that it's basically a giant fucking shithole. Because it's basically the slums of everybody that survived the attack on Helgen.
Right.
It's basically, you don't want to go walking around this place even if it had open maps because it's a shithole.
Yeah, because it's a shithole.
Let's just hide behind lots of things that are in the way and shoot people, please.
The aesthetic of New Helgen was really cool.
Okay.
The gameplay that it devolved to, I was just like, this isn't really what...
Yes, I have pulled left trigger and then right trigger before.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only thing that varied it, and this comes in with the touchpad, is your owl, which is your little floating companion. This dude's fucking cool. All right. Because the entire time I was playing it, I was like, I wonder how, right before I started like getting into where they were trying to tell me what that dude does, I was just like, I wonder how they're going to use this touchpad in a first-person shooter. You know, because basically every command you'd want to do as a guy shooting at other guys is basically mapped pretty well since the dawn of console
Halo.
FPS.
Since Halo.
Yeah, since Halo. And then they were just like, oh, well, when you swipe up and hit left L1, your OWL does this. You swipe right, it does this. Swipe down, it does this. Swipe left, it does this. And I was like, that's fucking clever.
Yeah.
Because I would have never thought of it.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's effective. And because of the size of the controller, it doesn't feel cumbersome at all, man. Mm-hmm. It's just like it became a part of naturally playing the game. It literally just turns into a third analog stick.
Right.
It doesn't feel like you have to shoehorn any functionality into the game for it because it just comes so naturally to the player. One of the cool features of the OWL is its fucking zip line. You basically just turn it on zip line, point it at an area. If your crosshair pulls up bright white, you click L1, it shoots a zip line down there, and you latch onto it and just go shooting down there.
Nice.
And you can like dismount early to like jump on people and stealth kill them and shit. It has some pretty.
That's always been one of my favorite things to do ever.
Yeah, zip line on people and kill them murderously.
Zip line murders.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because it kind of devolves back into corridor shooting, the OWL kind of tends to get underutilized. He starts to basically be your hacker for you, which is kind of depressing. The game had super amounts of potential. And then it didn't shit on itself, but it definitely regressed back to what it knew. Which is cool. I'm excited for the next one to see. Because it's open for a sequel again.
Sure.
This is Sony's.
Who'da thunk?
Yeah, this is Sony's franchise, man. This and Infamous. That's all I got. And Drake Uncharted, but so I'm really super stoked for the sequel. Next game I got for it was Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Spent $30 for 93 minutes of gameplay.
More like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Was it
takes
worth it?
0 hours.
Fiscally, no. My inner Metal Gear Solid fanboy, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I squeezed about 10 hours out of the game.
Sure.
With all the side stuff you can do and stuff like that. But just running straight through the narratives, I beat it in 93 minutes and some change. They gave me a C for that, dickheads. Anyways.
No, beat our game faster.
I could beat Tony Hawk
faster.
Pro Skater 3 in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Good.
And get all of the everything in one playthrough of a character. It was pretty awesome. I had it down to a science.
Oh yeah, that's how I have fun with my video games, when they become math problems.
Listen, when you're at your grandparents' house for the summer and you've got nothing else to do, man,
I like math.
I like math.
You will get to liking math.
So this was basically. Did you guys ever see the first trailer teaser for?
I did.
Solid?
I don't know if I saw that trailer or if I saw the one for Phantom Pain because you know.
Did
Ground Zeroes have a horse?
That's Phantom Pain.
Okay, then no, probably not.
Well, basically, this mission is the tech demo for Ground Zeroes from way back when, when they first announced it was in development.
Okay.
And basically, the entire game, people keep saying, and it bugs me when people keep saying, like, they're calling it an open world game, which in a sense it is. It's more of a sandbox because the map is not big enough to be an open. Okay, well. It's a military base. It's a military base on a small island outside of Cuba. Yeah. So it's not an open world per se. It is free roaming and sandboxy. You can literally do whatever you want.
Okay.
Which lends a lot to replayability that previous Metal Gear Solids didn't do because Metal Gear Solid was very much go point to point, do the thing it wants you to do. This one
go from point A to point B, watch this movie. Go from point B to point C, watch this movie.
Which was great about Ground Zeroes. Cutscenes were actually very limited.
What?
That 93 minutes was a lot of fucking gameplay. It wasn't until after the credits where they started showing a bunch of trailers for Phantom Pain where I was just like, all right, I get it. Give me my score already.
Oh my god. That sounds dirty.
No, this entire game was just a fucking hype machine for Phantom Pain, and it fucking worked. And I'm gonna get to it why.
So is it Metal Gear Solid like Case Zero, like what they did?
Oh yeah, dude, I like the Dead Rising.
Yeah, but $25 more.
Well,
right. Okay. And K-Zero had more content. And people were pissed off about that.
What,
people
about
were
K-Zero?
pissed off about K-Zero.
No, people were hyped about K-Zero.
No,
there was a lot of people that were just like...
well, those people are dumb, because they're like 3% of people.
Yeah, there was a good chunk
They
of
need to
people.
shut
There was a
up.
good chunk of people that were just like episodic gameplay is kind of.
Case-Zero was awesome. Dead Rising 2 was awesome. And then Case
West.
Case West was awesome.
See, I thought K-Zero was garbage, and then I thought Dead Rising 2 was garbage. It kind of sucked the fun out of why I like Dead Rising out of my veins, because I didn't like taking care of a daughter. That was stupid.
After all the other shit you have to do in the game, grabbing her some medication every now and then was hardly on my list of reasons to be annoyed.
It was always on my list of reasons to be annoyed.
It's cool.
I would just listen.
No, it's cool.
I just
you just
duct
restart
taped
the
nails
game,
to a propane
and
tank.
then you do it faster.
Yeah, I just duct taped nails to a propane tank and threw them at zombies, and then shot them.
I just dressed up like a
boom.
ninja and ran around with a lightsaber.
Mega Man.
This is 2.
You could still get some of the pieces.
Yeah, but they didn't have the Mega Buster, the Mega Game Buster.
Still.
Anyways, you were talking about Ground Zeroes.
Yeah. But
We were comparing.
How many eye patches are there in this game?
only one.
Okay.
Mr. Snake is wearing it because he lost his eye in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
So
Wait, wasn't Raiden in 3?
Raiden was in 2.
Okay, wasn't that Big Boss then?
Big Boss was Naked Snake before he became Big Boss.
It's a different Snake.
Right. That's why I said Snake lost it in 3. The one in 3 was Big Boss.
So is this going back
The
to
one-
Big Boss Snake?
Yeah, this is Big Boss Snake.
What?
This is during the 70s.
My mind!
Yeah. No. Old Snake's dead, dude.
Is he?
He's dead. Everyone is. He, quote unquote, died at the end of 4.
Till he comes back in Phantom Pain.
Well, yeah.
That's the Phantom.
Well, duh.
That's the Phantom in
this is-
Phantom Pain.
Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain are 9 years separate.
Wait a second. What if it was Max Payne?
No!
Phantom Payne.
Shut up.
Slow-mo.
There is slow-mo.
With
I'm
an
getting
eye
to
patch!
it! God damn it, fuck.
No depth perception that way.
It doesn't matter. He's Snake. He
He
just
already-
shoots people dead.
And Max Payne already operates in 4 dimensions. He doesn't need help with depth perception.
So the entire game progresses continuously. There are no loading screens.
Okay.
You basically the first cutscene basically shows you some of the new characters, and then the guy that you're obviously going to rescue throughout this game, because he's small and childish and very he's a child, and he's obviously a good guy, so you got to go get him.
Is that the guy who plugs the headphones into himself?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I saw that trailer.
That's Chico. Yeah, that's the trailer I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And you remember at the end of the trailer where it pans and then shows Snake climbing up the edge of that cliff, and then when he pops up on the edge of the cliff, he looks up and takes off his night vision goggles, and then it pans around, and then you're playing the game.
Yes.
That whole entire cutscene was rendered in Engine, and I was freaking the fuck out about it. It's exactly how it happened again. And then as soon as it fucking
Still freaking out.
It's still freaking out. As soon as Snake popped up and looked at the camera and fucking popped up his night MVGs, Kiefer Sutherland plays Snake this time around
Right.
instead of David Hayter,
Mm-hmm.
which was a little jarring at first. Totally got used to it. Good choice for Snake. He just looks up and goes something along the lines of, "What, did I keep you waiting?" And I was just like, "Ah! Yes, you did, you asshole."
It's pretty good.
And then it panned around, and then you were just fucking controlling Snake, and then a dude started telling you what to do. And then once the dude started telling you what to do, it goes...
You're like, shut up, I know what to do.
It goes, okay, now do it. And the only time you ever hear from him again is tooltips. It's great. Or unless you call him, which is always fun. So basically, you're on top of this cliff, and you're overlooking this huge military thingy going on.
Uh-huh.
And you just go like, so I got to get from here all the way over there with all these bajillion peoples in front of me, and I can do it any way I want. This is going to be great. And then 93 minutes later, I was like, that was awesome. I can't wait for the second mission. Credits. I was like, you son of a bitch. And then it did unlock bonus missions, which just reused the same maps, same enemies, but like different times a day. It stopped raining and it was daytime for one of them, which was great because I could actually appreciate.
I can see
I
things.
could appreciate how fucking gorgeous this game fucking was.
That's just that. I was gonna say that's just their excuse. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna make this daytime
Yeah.
so you can actually see it because stroking our own peens.
Right. But it was, I mean, you could just do it however you wanted to. Like, it was like, here's the point you need to get to, here's what you need to do when you get there, figure it out. And I was just like, dude, it was great. Like, so it's a good sign of things to come.
Sure.
The game played awesome. When you get alert status, you go into reflex mode, which you hit that's
the slow-mo?
As soon as it basically a prompt pops up that says L2 for reflex, and when you hold L2, you go into slow-mo and just instantly aim at the person that alerted you.
Are you basically mark and executing at that point?
I think
They did it because there's no map.
I had to do it.
There's no map or radar to give you any indication of where people are looking, where they are. You have to bring up your binoculars and mark them to see them on your map. And you can only have your map out when you pull it out. You can have it out at the same time you're moving, but you can't use any weapons because it's a big fucking 60s,
so you basically,
70s GPS.
You basically Minecrafted at that point?
Basically. Yeah, just look down, look up, look down, look up. But once you have them marked, they're on the map permanently. You can see their movement patterns and stuff, but it still doesn't give you a field of vision or anything like that. And
does it have like triangles pointing in the direction that
no
they're
field
going?
of vision.
It's just circles.
Just a circle.
Wow.
Yep. So
it's the 70s, dog.
It gets pretty tense. Especially they did this cool indication-y thing where it's basically when you have been detected, but they're not necessarily know it's you. This like white cone or this like white indicator will pop up, similar to like in shooters when you get shot, it'll be like blood stain in the direction of where you get shot. Yeah. Same thing, but white. Of where you're getting spotted from. So if you just like sleuth back into the shadows real quick, they'll just kind of go, and they'll come over and check it out, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, see that?"
And then you'll murder them.
and then
who didn't have the lights?
And they'll be like, "You guys crazy," and then you just stealth off to whatever else you're gonna do.
Gotcha.
You murder them.
There's a point in the game where you can rescue a bunch of people, and when you rescue them, they carry over to Phantom Pain. Because basically,
that's cool. I love games that do that.
Because basically, at the end of
Mass Effect is pretty great, huh?
basically at the end of Ground Zeroes, everyone is dead, but like 3 people. So you need those people you rescue to rebuild your organization. Because Snake has basically a private army he's been filming.
But I am just a janitor.
But I'm just a janitor. There's this really brutal scene. You rescue this chick named Paz. Because
because names.
She went
Vega. Paz Vega.
She went double agent, but she's like a fucking 15-year-old, and she was working for Snake.
Of course.
And Chico, the fucking dude that plugged himself in all the time, he looked no older than 15, 16 years old. And then you rescue her, and while you guys, this is at the very end of the game, you're flying away after you rescued them both, and Chico goes over and like inspects her, make sure she's okay, they're friends or whatever. Pulls her shirt up, and there's humongous incision, like across her navel and then up into her like rib areas. And then she goes like Snake, and Snake was just like, "Fuck, we've been set up." And then the medic, and then he's like, "Medic," and the medic comes over and says, "We don't have time for anesthetic. We got to open her up." And I was just like, "There's a bomb in there. There's a fucking bomb in there."
I want to know how she got these scars.
Dude, there's a snook in her snooze.
Dude. It was probably the most graphic fucking thing I have ever seen in a Hideo Kojima game ever.
Jesus.
It was full on Saw. They didn't move the camera or nothing. You were just like right there watching this medic digging under her intestines.
Okay, so this actually happened.
No, this actually happens. You watch it happen. He fucking pulls all the stitches out, basically folds her stomach over.
So it doesn't become Surgeon Simulator?
And just go digging. No. He just goes digging and fucking pulls it out. And, of course, Snake takes it and disarms it and does whatever he does with it. And then they fucking close her back up. But, like, while...
Throws it into the sky and it explodes the last second.
Snake's holding her down. And, like, while the medic's, like, under her stomach, he had to go under her intestines to get to it. She is freaking the fuck out.
Well, yeah, you're inside of her...
Like you do.
She had opened up at this point, or woken up at this point.
You're inside of her squirmy parts.
Yeah,
so.
And so she's, like, fucking freaking out. I'm, like, literally balled up in a ball in my chair with my blanket over my head, just like, you sick fuck. And then they close her up, and she goes back to sleep from the trauma. And then she wakes up, and later it flashes over. She wakes up, she starts freaking out. She's like, "Snake, there's a..." And Snake's like, "It's okay, we got it." And then she goes over to the door, opens it up, and goes, "No, they also put one in my jump explosion." Totally up the snatch, dude. Had to be.
Snooking or sniz.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Had to be.
I'm seriously think that's what they were alluding to. Because and this is why. She's young. She doesn't want to say vagina in front of a bunch of adults. B, she kind of goes.
Oh God, no one else will ever see that face because this is audio. But
Yep.
fuck.
And I was like, wow, that's fucking dark. Like that's dark for Metal Gear. And Metal Gear can get pretty dark. Like, and then so that blows up. Fucking, we get back to the secret base, and then everything's blowing up, and then it fucking credits. I get my fucking score, and then fucking
C,
and then like fucking C, and I was like, what the fuck game? I beat it in less than 2 hours, and then we get to the
like, yeah, but it's a 45-minute game.
They basically give you an extended trailer for the Phantom Pain, and then it jumps back to the main menu, and I was like, I know what this is. You're trying to get me hyped for Phantom Pain. It doesn't have a release date yet. So you're trying to super hype me. And it fucking worked. Like, I was so worked up after all that. I was like, Phantom Pain needs to come out tomorrow. Or I'm going to fucking punch somebody. Fucked around with some of the side stuff you can do. It was fun. You could just do different missions on the same map, and you can approach them the same way. But if that's the thing that's to come from Phantom Pain, like that open-worldy feel and stuff like that, I'm super hyped.
Horses.
Now, as far as the game itself... Controls are really sweet. Engine's beautiful. Runs really well. Don't fucking buy it.
How's the music?
It's scored by the same guy. It's fucking
awesome.
epic. Don't ever buy that fucking game at full retail price. Okay, I spent $30 for something I literally played for the first time, sat down and played it, and beat it in 93 minutes. I beat all of the side missions, just beat them, in another like 2 or 3 hours. It wasn't until I started doing the time trials and stuff where my game time started jacking up. But you can beat all of its content straight through in one shot in less than 5 hours.
It's kind of like if Telltale was selling you episode 1 for $30.
For $30 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
For me, I can justify the cost because I'm a humongous fucking Metal Gear fanboy. For everybody else, even coming from me who will try to turn you on the Metal Gear series at any chance I get, never, ever buy this fucking game.
Right.
So go over to Keith's house.
Come over to my house. I'll let you sit down and play it. It'll only take 2 hours of my time. Unless you suck, then I'm going to take the controller and be like, this is how you do it. Last game I got for the PS3.
Is the one that I actually care about.
Or the PS4, and then I'm going to wrap it up, is Infamous Second Son.
Fuck yeah, Infamous.
Dude, that fucking game. It's so fucking addictive.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Especially
I like Infamous.
especially once you get the neon powers and you can start shooting lasers. Because apparently, Delsin, your main character, he wasn't.
What's his name?
Delsin. He wasn't born a conduit. He became a conduit.
Well, neither was
when he came in contact with another conduit.
Weird.
Yeah.
Neither was what's his name.
Yeah.
From the first one.
Well, I mean, but
he
was turned into a conduit because of the accident in the first place.
Yeah, Delsin was turned into a conduit because he came in contact with him.
And
he
that's
touched
weird.
him. He's basically a conduit sponge. So then this big bitch, fucking the head of Dupe.
Right.
Head of what?
Dupe. It's the Department of Universal Protection, DUP. Okay. But all the conduits call him Dupe because it's funny.
Okay.
Basically, Dupe gets shut down for basically gets removed from authority when it comes to containing bioterrorists, and it gets shifted to the military. Bioterrorists are what normies call the conduits because they're afraid of them.
Normies.
So on the way, the army tries transferring a bunch of conduits to an army prison, and it gets wrecked at this a Native American reservation, which is where Delsin is.
Right.
This one conduit starts wreaking havoc throughout. He's just trying to get out, and everybody's trying to, like, whoa, calm down. He's like, I just want to leave, man, panicking, stuff like that. Comes in contact with him and sucks his powers up. Does a really good job at conveying...
Does he neutralize the other guy, basically? Does that person...
No.
Okay.
They just share. They basically they create, like, this mental bond. They see inside each other's head at one moment, and then it flashes back, like, the history of that conduit, so you can get a little backstory on them. And then they're basically just, like, they share.
So he's like Rogue without the negative repercussions.
He's like Rogue without killing people.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like that dude from Heroes, except without the brain eating.
Yeah. Okay. But when you first get the smoke powers, the first powers you get is smoke and embers.
Okay.
When you first get up, your brother's gone because he's chasing after the other conduits. Like, yo, fucking, because he's the sheriff of the reservation. Convenient enough because you're a punk fucking graffiti artist.
Oh man!
So your brother apparently has
Banksy.
arrested you plenty of times in the past.
Sure.
And the whole setup for Delson's super likable character. He's really funny, really witty. So when you get up, when you first get the powers transfer you, when you get up and you start trying to
Mark Echo.
when you try to walk, you just start like zipping around. You start unintentionally doing your smoke dash because you don't know how to control your powers. You just got them.
Right.
So it's just like, oh fuck, yeah. So Delson's just like, oh my god, and then it's like fucking freaking out because he has no idea what's going on either. And so you start getting this like really good sense of panic and emotion from the character. And then finally he's like, all right, concentrate, I got this. And then you start basically taming him. And then you try to a log in a car kind of pin your brother, so you go to like help him lift the car, and then you end up like fucking like ember shooting it across the road. And he was just like, "Fuck!" And Reggie starts freaking out because of course he's brainwashed like everyone else to think they're fucking bioterrorists and they're
Reggie
dangerous.
is your brother.
Your brother.
Okay.
It was super cool. And then you get into Seattle and that's when the real game happens. Like they contained the tutorial of sorts. It didn't feel like a tutorial, which was my favorite part. It was very much just the beginning of the narrative that you're learning how to play the game through.
Okay.
Because even the character is learning how to use his powers. Right. No, that's definitely a good method.
Yeah. And so once you get into Seattle, you actually start doing the normal core gameplay, which is very similar to what Infamous has always done, which is like conquer territories, fucking do a bunch of side missions.
Watch this morality thing go.
Yeah, and the morality thing actually does make a relative more impactful difference than it did in the past, but no more so than it just gives you different upgrades.
Right. I mean, that's typically what it was. In the past.
Because Delson's such a likable character, I couldn't do bad morality choices because A, I didn't feel like it fit his character, and B,
I'm sure it would adjust.
No, it would. It would. It definitely would. I've already started my second playthrough where I'm going through...
Gotcha.
As I'm going through Rogue. Going through...
Renegade!
It adjusts...
Just gonna smile.
It adjusts and it justifies. Because Delson already kind of...
It justifies?
Yes. Delson already kind of lives in the gray area because he wants to do good, but he's also pissed off. You know, because they like this bitch that's head of Dupe, basically, she is a conduit too, even though she works for capturing the conduits. So she has the power of concrete. So she basically impales all of your friends and family with concrete, trying to figure out where all these fucking... And doesn't like impale them and kill them, just gets it stuck in their bones. And then all the doctors was like, it's only coming out the same way it went in. So Delson was like, well, I'm obviously a conduit sponge, so I'm going to find this bitch, take her powers, and pull all my friends' fucking pieces out. So he's obviously pissed off at Dupe, and he's fucking young, and he's a punk. So they easily set it up to where it was much more believable than Cole.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Because Cole is just a dick.
Yeah.
But the game, a bit repetitive at times, but still super fun.
I mean, that's Infamous.
But that's what's going to happen with any of your open worldy fucking beat 'em ups. You know, same thing happened. I couldn't finish Prototype.
That's why I really.
Well, that's because the end of Prototype was A, very hard, and B, like not
finished
worth it.
Prototype. I finished the first one. I never played the second.
Yeah, I just never liked Prototype. Like your dude was such a cockbagel. He was way.
That's a way of putting it.
He was trying. I felt like he was trying to balance his morality too much with the fact that he eats people and then impales other people with pieces of people. Like you can't be you can't be morally gray when that is your primary mode of transportation and murder. But it was still super fun.
Yeah.
But
listen, I'm not saying I'm against people. I just need their bones for the spokes of my bike. All right.
Right. But one of the
and use their hair as streamers.
When I finally the first point I started finally realizing that yes, we've hit a new generation of consoles. Is because there's one of the things you can do to reduce Dupe's affluence in a territory is tag the place because you're a graffiti artist.
Right.
So you turn the controller upside down and shake it, and then you spray that shit, and the sound comes out of the controller speaker. It's really cool. But another thing is, when you were having a conversation with one of the tribe elders, this nice elderly lady, super cool lady, she got fucked up by the bitch too. And she was like, "There's no way I was gonna rat you out." Blah blah blah. Because your first morality choice is either surrender yourself to Dupe or let the tribe take the fall for you. So I surrendered myself because I couldn't do that to the old lady.
Right.
But they did it to her anyways. I was like, well, fuck. But I don't want to feel like a douche after doing it.
Right.
But watching her talk, watching the facial animations and stuff like that, like, it was so detailed to, like, she had dynamic face wrinkles under her eyes and
Right.
stuff. It wasn't, like, textured. It was just like, this is how her skin is. And when she talks and moves her eyes, it, like, moves and contours. I was like, that's fucking pretty. And then I read some specs, and there was 7,600 polygons used to create his beanie alone. And I was like, Jesus, PlayStation, fucking flop your teraflops any harder.
I think there was like 7,600 polygons to make like all of the first Tony Hawk.
Probably. There was over 10,000 particles used just for your smoke dash effect. Like this is another one of those games where it's doing well to show off the hardware.
Right.
And it's
It's like, yo, dog, we got graphics.
yeah, we got graphics, and it's also
Remember the last time a new console came out?
Yeah.
We don't either. This is how we're going now.
This is how we're going now. And it was fun. Super exhilarating experience too. There's some parts that are really like, and I'm still having fun with it. And I haven't beat the first playthrough. I just went back and started a second one.
Oh, wow.
Just because I wanted to see what would happen if I started leaning towards the dark side.
Right.
And
See how your powers are
More
affected, so-
fire.
yeah, more fire. And then you get the neon powers, and the rest of the game is fucking broken.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Laser beams.
yeah, laser beams. And
Taking it to all of the clubs.
you know, and in order to refill your powers, like for the smoke powers, you have to find a smoke source and you suck it in and stuff from like chimneys or anything like, or broken cars. There's plenty. For the neon powers, it's literally just neon signs. So there's nothing cool. There's nothing cooler than like light dashing up the side of a building, stopping on top, draining the fucking neon from it, and then like swan diving, neon gliding down off of it.
So what you're saying is those powers would be incredibly broken in a place like Las Vegas.
Yep.
Dope.
You would literally win the game.
Good thing we're in Seattle, though.
Good thing we're in Seattle.
Man.
Seattle is in Chinatown. There's a lot of fucking neon. So it's just, and once you get more powers and stuff like that, it's super awesome. Once you get like once you get the orbital drop and the fucking, oh my god, it's great. It's basically if you get like a good morality streak, like if you subdue people instead of killing them and stuff like that, you do an orbital drop, which literally is you take off in a puff of smoke, and it was in the trailer where Delson kind of floats in front of the camera and kind of smirks, and then like shoots back down and explodes everything.
Right.
Oh, it's so fucking cool and pretty. It's pretty fucking cool. That's what it is. It's good stuff. Totally satisfied. And I also pre-ordered Destiny, so I get in the beta next month.
Nice. I need to do that.
I never played Infamous 2.
Infamous 2 is...
It was good. I liked Infamous 2.
Yeah. Infamous 2 is...
I liked the powers.
Second Son, because of its title and stuff, made me forget that there was an Infamous 2.
Well, that's why I like Infamous Second Son so much, is because there is a brief moment where Cole is ever indicated. It's a standalone. It completely does everything. It's on its own.
Mm.
The DLC that came with it, because I got the limited edition because I pre-ordered it.
Ooh.
Is you get Cole's jacket and a bunch of side missions pertaining to him.
Got it.
Interesting.
But that's literally his only mention. The game completely stands on its own. Besides people going, yeah, remember all that shit that happened with that freaky lightning dude? Yes, I do, actually. I played both of those games.
Yeah, they were really good. Infamous is a good franchise.
Yeah.
I hope they keep doing good things with it.
Yeah, I was really stoked about it, and it completely paid off.
In 3 years.
Another thing I forgot to mention, though, about Shadow's Fall, Killzone, we'll touch on it briefly, is, oh, now it completely fucking left me.
Nice.
Cool.
Shit,
Smoke.
it happens.
Neon.
Cool.
Smirking.
Lightning guy.
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4. It's on the PlayStation 4.
Pretty.
It is
Orbital
pretty.
drop.
No, not orbital drop. Damn it, what was it?
Native Americans.
Native Americans. Nope.
Old lady eye wrinkles.
Old lady.
Teraflops.
Teraflops. None of this is ringing.
All right, so you got anything else you want to talk about?
Come back to it.
Okay. Hey, Dustin, how's Titanfall?
Oh man. Okay, so I got
Haven't
3
done
games.
a podcast since you picked up the.
I got 3
Xbox.
games.
Yeah.
The first being Titanfall.
It's funny, we're actually coming with legitimate stuff.
Yeah,
we got
current-
new things. We got new
current
shiny
gen.
things. Oh, you
Current
need
gen
to
I'm
go
so
Chinese.
excited to hear about Garden Warfare again.
get a Wii
Current
U,
gen
and then we'll be
Chinese.
caught up.
Dude, no.
Let's see.
Get me
Okay.
$1,000 on Steam, and we can have things that we'll never stop talking about ever.
So
Cat.
so Titanfall, I was actually really impressed.
Yo, that looks like a
expecting
video game.
I was expecting a lot less from the story because it
Is a multiplayer
is
story.
it. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a multiplayer story. It's not a 2-hour long playthrough like Black Ops. The originals were, where you're playing through and you're like, okay, I just beat this campaign in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Still no Modern Warfare 3.
yeah, exactly.
I beat Modern Warfare 3 in like 4.5 hours.
But what's fun about it is it gives you the story and it sticks you in and it makes you feel like you are one of the rebels or one of the IMC, which is like the military.
Yeah.
And basically, the way the story runs is you're on like a moon of Titan, basically, or you're on the moon Titan.
Okay.
And it's after people have moved from Earth, they're colonizing.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing about the colonization process is that you have, fuel and water resources and things like that. And it's all being governed by military, basically, because you have very limited government. And the renegades are people who
Renegade!
are the militants, the militia. The militia are guys who
That's creative.
have
Get there
it
eventually.
is. They're just guys who are trying to rebel against the military. The military isn't giving us what we need. We're struggling here. Basic military versus the people concept.
Uh-huh.
And
You ever play Red Faction Guerrilla?
yeah.
It's kind of similar.
So
Except that guy has a hammer.
Except he does have a hammer.
except he has a hammer. I have a Titan.
Have you seen his hammer?
Which here's the thing.
Have you seen buildings after it's seen his hammer?
Yeah.
But his hammer has not seen a Titan.
Right. You start off.
You
start off, and your pilot by itself is a standalone warrior. Like, you are a soldier.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a weapon, you have a sidearm, you have a grenade.
You farm creeps until your Titan spawns.
You farm well, and that's the thing too, is that you have your enemy 5, the people who you're fighting against,
And then creeps.
That's my new band name.
the enemy 5, yeah. And then you also have these little creeps, which are basically the enemy's
Ground forces, not pilots.
robot ground forces. And or in some particular cases they're just soldiers.
Yeah, there are boot infantry.
So,
Right, exactly.
Can we briefly discuss how this game is largely just a MOBA?
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like this is like taking my favorite elements of like
It's not though.
various things.
It's not though. And the thing about it is, as well, on top of that,
Is there a nexus?
No.
Apparently there are in some game modes. There is a giant titan that it is your job to destroy.
I've not played that game mode.
Okay.
I have played Capture the Flag and Capture the Flag and the base. What is it? Base hardpoint, where basically you have to hold 3-point capture. Whoever holds the most for the longest wins. I've played a game mode called a game mode that's exclusively Titans. You play in your Titan from the start, and against another team of Titans from the start, and whoever's Titans go down first loses, even if the actual players are still alive.
So it's
It's actually a lot of fun because you can jump out of your Titan and your Titan walks around and does what you tell it to.
is that like the
Which is so much fun. It's like having a big giant puppy with a grenade launcher.
So it's like single death, single elimination.
Yes, and waves.
Okay.
And so you learn how to play your pilot, and your pilot jumps around and has a jump pack, and the jump pack is basically a small burst.
Right.
That allows you to double jump.
It's your parkour pack.
It's your parkour pack. Allows you to double jump, allows you to wall run. You have a camouflage that you start with, which is super duper handy against enemy titans that are actually not being controlled by people.
Because even against people,
you're pretty well camouflaged.
As long as you don't get stepped on.
As long as you don't get stepped on.
And also,
but
when you're on the ground, you're kind of just opaque. Like
right.
Like, you know,
I've had difficulty. In my experience with the game, I have had more issues killing pilots than I have had killing Titans.
Well, pilots are so
because
wily.
they're so fucking squirrely.
Yeah.
I feel like pilots are more dangerous than Titans because Titans is your standard. Like when I was fighting Titan on Titan, it was very much
when I
mech dash combat.
But the flip side of that is you catch a pilot out in the open and they are very dead.
Oh, they're stupid fucked.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is that
you go building to building as a pilot if there are Titans on the board. That is a given.
You have your loadouts and you build your loadouts.
So after the first 2 minutes,
and your character, the way your character works is they're based off of your first weapon, your primary weapon. Okay. So whatever your primary weapon is, that's the armor that you get.
It's kind of classy.
Which is it's class based.
Okay.
And that's really cool because you start getting more weapons as you progress, and you get to see different armor classes and things like that. But it helps when you're fighting against people because you kind of know what they have as their main weapon.
Got you. Interesting.
Also, you get 3... you have to play through both campaigns to get all 3, but you get 3 different Titans for your loadouts. You get an assault, you get a tiny quick mech, and you get a really heavy-bodied like a tank mech, basically, right. The ogre, and you get different weapons for that too, and you get different powers for that too. So it's basically like building yourself and a second version of yourself, which comes super in handy when you're playing pretty much any game mode because it allows you to have your you can be built for Titan killing. And then, or you could be built for soldier killing, and your Titan can be built for Titan killing. Or you can reverse it.
That was basically my setup. I just smart pistoled everything, and then dropped in a super fucking big ogre and just stepped on everything.
See, I was the reverse because I know how dangerous the soldiers are.
Well, because my Titan could tank so much damage, I just jumped out, popped him in the face, and jumped back in.
Well, see, but that's the thing too is that
super awesome.
What I would what I would do was as a soldier, I shoot as a pilot. Yeah, as a pilot.
Come on, give yourself a little credit. You went to flight school,
right? As a pilot, I spec to take down Titans. So as soon as they drop their Titan, I'm on them.
You jump on the deck, pull off that thing, start laying some rounds in their ass.
You can jump on them, start laying rounds in them. And if they pop out...
How great would that be, though? If one of the Titans was just like, okay, we're introducing a new Titan, you literally pop a cap in their ass, and you just, pulled out a butt flap and just start... you start dumping.
If they jump out of their Titan, I jump off the Titan, shoot them, jump back on the Titan, and finish it off. If I even need to get that close, because I was rocking the rocket launcher for a long time, just... locking on, firing, getting undercover. Locking in, firing, getting undercover. Because, man, you have no idea, Titan versus Titan, how much it helps when somebody else is firing on it.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Especially because the very first power you get with your very first Titan is the Vortex Shield, which catches bullets and missiles and everything else, and you can fire it back at your enemy.
I mean, my favorite thing ever is
people behind him shooting them with rockets is super handy.
I built another build with the weaker Titan, the one that goes down in, fucking 2 hits, if that. And I would literally just try to spawn the Titan, and then when I got in it, I'd run into middles of stuff and basically let them beat out of me and then nuke the shit out of them, just eject, and just watch the whole thing just... And, my kill thing would just be like...
Can you drop Titans on people to kill them?
Yes.
There's actually an achievement for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can drop Titans on people to kill them. You can...
If they didn't put that in the game, they're doing it wrong. It's a fucking Titan falling from the fucking sky. It lands on somebody, they die.
Yeah. I mean, you can...
It's
you can
Titan
also...
fall, not Titan meander.
So how long until they put out super tiny, Master Chief equivalent armor, and he just lands, and then you hop in it. And
you heard about one of my favorite bugs, right?
Yes.
You can ride an enemy.
You can ride enemy pilots.
Oh, cool.
As if they were Titans.
As if they were Titans.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's pretty silly.
That's nifty.
It's fucking dumb as shit.
I was gonna say, when you said you can ride an enemy, I was like, yes, this is a thing. You jump on them.
No, this is
you meant
just
pilots.
Just the pilot.
Okay.
Now, if only you could ride enemy pilots as a Titan.
Oh, okay.
Here, where we're going.
Last time I tried that, I had to clean them off my shoe.
Yeah. And that's another fun thing about the Titans.
I panic like a
motherfucker. You drop them, and then you have D-pad commands.
Uh-huh.
You can jump one of the things is you jump at that Titan, and it doesn't matter what direction you're coming from. It gives you like different animations and all that sort of thing, and sticks you in its chest, and that's really cool. But you can also just use a command and have it follow you right there from the ground. You don't have to get in it to start.
Yeah, like
it
if you drop it, if you drop it into something that wasn't a hot zone 2 seconds ago, and then suddenly shit starts up popping off, you just be like, all right, you're coming to me. And you start running away, and your Titan will get up and just start lumbering towards you like a fucking giant baby.
Or
hey guys, what's going on over here?
Or if
and
all
he'll
of a
step
sudden,
on people on the way too.
If all of a sudden behind you becomes a hot spot and your Titan is right there, you can jump up to the Titan and fire from inside the shield, which is also super fucking handy. Because
until
guess
you have
what?
time to get to the fucking Titan.
And if you have longer shield on your Titan, it's pretty much a bubble shield.
Right.
It's pretty much a Halo bubble shield.
The
and
game,
it's super fucking sweet.
Yeah, I was super impressed. I was more impressed than I thought I was going to be with it. Cause
I was too. 100%.
I knew the game was going to be fun. Okay,
Yeah.
because I have fun with multiplayer shooters for brief periods of time.
Yeah.
But because I played the beta and I was just like, it's all right. But it's just because I wasn't letting myself get into it. When it launched, I went ahead and picked it up on PC because I was bored.
Yeah.
Because after you got it, I saw you play it briefly. I was like, well, I want to fucking play it. And I was like, it's not a One exclusive.
Nope.
Got this. So I picked it up on PC, and I was just like, wow, this is really fun. Like, but I think what sets it apart is the developer. Because the developer, Respawn Entertainment, right? They're all fucking Infinity Ward guys.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the original Infinity Ward team.
What I thought was really interesting about it is
Largely.
the initial campaign is very similar. I know it's very similar to Brink, but they did it better.
Oh, all of that I didn't give a shit about.
Yeah, but
I thought Brink was god awful.
Well, but see, that's the thing. Brink had a very similar concept, especially with the wall running
And the Titans.
and well, I'm saying without the Titans.
No, I think
the wall running and the campaign was very similar.
Yeah.
But with Titanfall, they did everything so much better that you can't even compare them on any other level.
What is the achievement? What do you have to do for the achievement that they've clearly titled "Remember the Titans"?
I don't know.
Also, if they haven't put a remember, I assume it's like kill 100 Titans.
I don't know.
Remember the Titans.
I don't know.
I haven't gotten it yet.
If they fucking missed on that,
I don't know. There's an achievement in the new Cabela's hunting game.
Go on, you fucking open this can of worms. Let's fucking see it to the end now.
It's called Keep It in the Family. It's if you kill 2 animals from the same herd.
Oh.
And then there's one called Heartbreaker, and it's if you shoot a grizzly bear in the heart.
Is there one called The Right to Bear Arms, where you
cut
the first
off
time
the bear arms?
the first time you shoot and mount a bear?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest
We should make achievements, guys.
I think the biggest
No.
I think the biggest set off for Titanfall for me was because it was made by basically Infinity Ward. The gunplay, because
The rapper.
Call of Duty's gunplay had always been like super watered down.
What do you mean?
I mean, it was easy. There's reasons why fucking 12-year-olds are good at that game.
Oh yeah, it's an arcade shooter.
Yeah, it's very arcadey shooting, but it wasn't necessary for that kind of game. You could make the game more core and still get away with it because it was very simple: run on the ground, shoot at things that are on the ground.
Right.
Sure.
I think Titanfall had to keep it loose because of the versatility of movement from the players. If they're running along a wall, it's kind of nice to know that the shooting comes a little easier. You know, it's almost necessary, or you're not going to fucking hit anybody.
Yeah.
You have to get good at the game.
Well, they definitely compensate that with weapons that you can use that are more complicated to use.
Smart pistol.
Smart pistol being one of them, because if you miss even one of those, that loading, like you have to hit them 3 times with the smart pistol.
Pilots.
Like you have to hold it. Pilots. You have to hold it
Soldiers, you just give
long
them
enough to where it goes beep beep beep, and once it hits that 3rd one, that's when you let it go, and it kills them.
But if they see you anywhere in time,
You're fucked.
You're fucked. But the little grunts, though, beep, poof, dead.
Yeah. and you can target 3 of them at once.
Everybody,
you can target like 5 of them.
Everybody was all pissy about that, and I was like, dude, it's hard as fuck to kill pilots with a smart pistol. The smart pistol is good for farming grunts to get your Titan time down.
Sure.
Like, that's it. The moment you try to engage a pilot with it, you better be behind them and they're completely unaware, or you better catch them with their pants on the ground.
Right.
Because if they turn around and get that first shot off before you are done getting your beep, 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 you're
done.
Fucked. You are totally, royally, superly fucked.
And, I mean, there's other things,
and
too.
It always makes me nervous when I'm, like, holding, like, I'm waiting. It's like, do, and I see him turning. I'm like, no, and I just go ahead and abort and run. Or try to whip out in my other gun and just, like, and try to do it. It never works.
And there's, like, there's shotguns and SMGs.
Your standard array of near future weapons.
But the fun stuff
that closely resembles current
the
weapons.
really fun stuff is the Titan weapons, the anti-Titan weapons that you can use that don't involve targeting systems. Because then you can use them on pilots and be a huge douchebag. And that's my favorite thing ever.
Great.
It's just, hey, railgun.
Yeah. There's nothing more satisfying. It's like hitting somebody with a Spartan laser.
Yeah,
There's nothing more satisfying.
Exactly.
Than it. Like they'll just be like bopping along on the rooftops, and you're just like, and they stop just long enough. They stop just long enough to
look at you.
You have like this coyish look on your face. They stop just long enough to like target somebody with a smart pistol or try to attack a Titan, and you're just like, you're basically repaint the walls with their inside.
You're doing the old Spartan laser trick where you're pulling the trigger and you're getting
trying
half charged up, waiting for them to stop. And when they finally stop, you're just like, got your ass.
And it's
God, it's so much fun.
Fucking glorious.
I absolutely love that game.
This is one of those games for me. I was able to experience it and appreciate it the most when I turned my brain off.
Yeah. No, it's a great.
It's senseless fun. It's wonderful.
I got an Xbox Live an Xbox Live friend off of this game because I was in the campaign and a guy goes, "Hey, is there anybody out there? Does anybody have a mic? Anybody?"
Like,
and
hey,
so I unpacked my mic, which was I
know that thing that comes with the console.
The thing that comes with the console. Hadn't bothered to mess with it
unless you buy a PS4.
Well, it comes with every Xbox One console.
PS4 comes with like an earbud with a microphone on it.
And I
it's so shitty.
I unpacked it, put it on, plugged it in, and was like, "Hey man, I'm here." And he's like, "Oh, thank God, somebody actually uses this thing."
The communication is about as dead as the Call of Duties have become. Remember?
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, we then got together with like some of his friends, and got a full group together and started playing Titan on Titan. And that was broken. If you communicate in that game, you win.
Teamwork is overpowered.
It's incredibly overpowered.
No. See, that's why in games like...
We never lost.
That's why games in Call of Duty and Blacklight Retribution and stuff, I just played deathmatch, free-for-all. I don't have to rely on other people. Granted, you get fucking flanked a lot more, but at least it's only my fault. It was for me. If I were to keep my brain on, the game's good. It's definitely good. It has some replayability because it is only to be replayed.
And honestly, the campaign, you can replay the campaign afterwards. You can pick any level you want to play again. Mm-hmm. If you just particularly like the map and want to play against people who are playing it for the first time, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be in the first level with a bunch of dudes who have full gear against level 1s and see them still see them still fight hard.
Yeah, one good thing
because as the IMC, you are the militant force, and it really makes you, as the militia, it makes you want to fight against the power, and having people who are completely and totally overpowered versing you. It makes you really fight hard. And
the game also did a really good job at balancing.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time with balancing.
I mean, giving you the Vortex Shield right off the bat for your Titan is a really good thing to do against pretty much anything that you'll encounter for the rest of the game.
Of course, they had to balance it well, considering it's humans versus mechs, and the only way we've ever seen that portrayed is mechs will win.
Yeah.
But to keep it balanced, they had to figure it out.
I mean, you can't squish people completely by accident.
Yeah, but people were, people have been asking the dev team, like, when are you going to add more Titans? And there's like, you know how much more balancing that's going to have to take?
Yeah.
Like, we're good with the ones we got, all right?
Yeah.
Give it some time. Like,
I want a Titan that looks like a Gundam.
I want a Titan that looks like a mech from Hawken.
I don't even...
Wait, they already look like mechs.
I don't want them to
Plays like
add...
it, too.
I don't want them to add new mechs at all. I just want them to add new mech skins.
I want an 80-foot Titan that I
That
have
would
to
be
drive
fun.
with somebody else.
That'd be cool. Be like a dual tank Titan. That flies. And shoots
he's-
lollipops.
Pacific Titanfall.
Pacific Titanfall.
Oh, I get it.
Titanfall, the Pacific Front.
Okay. Okay.
Pacific Rim Job.
Alright, calm down.
These are my arms in the air.
But yeah, so I really like Titanfall. It's
Or
really
3
good.
people if you're Chinese.
Yeah.
Only control one arm makes no sense.
It's the tiny arm.
Yes, tiny arm.
Well, it does. It makes sense if they're all combined in the
Strong
brain.
arm.
But whatever. Anyway,
No, it doesn't. That's one of the biggest plot holes in the movie.
No, I think one of the biggest plot holes in the movie is 3 Asian dudes playing basketball.
well,
Hey, man. So say it's happened in the NBA before, kind of.
so
At the same time.
Nope.
so I finished
guys.
up with Titanfall for the night and started dicking around on my Xbox One and messing with settings and things like that, and figured out how to turn off the Kinect when it turns off, so that way it doesn't listen for me to tell it to Xbox on.
I too
also got
sometimes
to see
open Microsoft Word and just type things randomly.
Yeah. Also got to see the awesome that is the Kinect sensor now.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you the different things. You can see the full camera, you can see it in the thermal, and you can see it in infrared. And that's really cool.
Are you playing Uno with thermal images of people's dicks yet?
No, man. You need to.
No.
Get on it.
Get a game of Uno out on the Xbox One. The Xbox Uno. Why are you guys missing this opportunity? It's there. It's staring you in the fucking face.
Anyway,
That's
I messed with a bunch of settings, and I really like the UI behind it. And there's a lot, and I even downloaded the tutorial for voice commands, and figured out that I could pretty much avoid 90% of the UI just by using certain voice commands.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun for me because that's all I did for the rest of the day. And
play
I can
with
also
your-
raise my hand
Yell at
and
your
like
Xbox.
I can also raise my hand and point it at things and make it go instead of having to use a controller.
Right, that
I
was
also use my Google
Kinect functionality pulled over from
Right.
last generation.
and I also can use my phone with the Xbox One Smart Glass, and that is so
Oh, you
much
mean
fun.
YouPorn.
That's what I remembered. I was gonna fucking talk.
The Xbox One Smart Glass, and that's really awesome. And that works really well. And then I was like, you know what? Let's see what other stuff is on the network right now.
Right.
And I remembered Killer Instinct.
Dope.
And I was like, alright, I'm going to go ahead and download this because it's free.
Combo.
Like, it right off the bat, it's free. You get Jago and all the tutorials and everything like that. So I was like, okay, let's do it.
He has a Hadouken
He has an Endokuken.
and a Dragon Punch
Tiger Punch.
and a Hurricane Kick.
It's totally
doesn't-
different.
He doesn't have a hurricane.
Damn it.
You were close.
Yeah. It's actually like it's closer to a shadow kick. Not the point. The point is,
Johnny Cage is gonna get his.
I downloaded it. It looks real nice. And I played through the tutorials and had some fun with it. And I was like, all right, let me look at the bundles. Let me look at what I can download for this game. And as a full title, buying every single thing you can
Currently.
Right.
plus the ability to download for free
The rest of the stuff.
the next two characters, which I think I already got one of. It was $40. If you want to buy any character individually, $5.
So I unless I'm mistaken, which I could be, and I haven't gone and looked it up at this point, I think it is $20 for the characters, and then Dustin spent $20 on costume packs.
It is quite no.
and access to all the other characters.
I paid for
free.
yeah. I was
Well,
gonna say
I think-
I
I
paid
think-
for
I
the
think that-
Ultimate Edition.
I think that $20 included those other two characters because they were Season 1 characters. I could be mistaken.
I paid for the Ultimate Edition. If you count $5 for every single character,
Sure.
currently there are 7 characters, so that's $35.
Uh-huh.
and there's another one coming out, and that would be $40. So by itself,
Right.
that is, it pays for itself. And then I also got 2 costume packs,
Sure.
which I'm not.
Or you can
I'm
buy
not,
all
I'm
the
not
season
sad
1
about.
characters for $20.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
I
without the 2 downloads.
Yeah, I liked the formula.
No, those two are both season 1 characters that were just not out
No,
yet.
he's talking about the costumes.
No, I don't think you could buy all of the characters for the $20.
No,
There was a bunch of special stuff that came.
No,
with
the
deluxe pack.
$20 for just the characters is all season 1 characters.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Those two had just not been released yet.
Well, from what I was looking at the thing, the way it describes it was the deluxe edition gets you plus the 2 who haven't come out yet.
Right, and you get the costume packs.
Right. So I don't know that the original normal one was like that, but it was definitely worth the $40 considering it's not a $60 title.
I was gonna say it's
fighting
game. It's a triple IP.
Yeah, it's a AAA IP fighting game
for $40,
and they made it $40.
Yeah.
That is completely unprecedented.
Character list is kind of, but they're working on it.
Street Fighter 4 at some point started getting.
It was a $60 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Off
they
the bat.
they put out arcade and ultimate and tournament and whatever.
But this is on launch, dude.
Yeah, this is on launch. This is the title.
I suppose.
Like you can't calculate.
Flip
price
side being
drops.
they're only releasing
Right.
8 characters, and they only had 6 at launch, and when was the last time that a game came out with only 6 characters?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Right now the roster's kind of weak, but it'll flesh out.
But the
Dive Kick
problem
has
is
more characters than that.
But the thing about it too
Dive
is
Kick.
that the actual characters that they put in the game
Mhm.
are really good old school Killer Instinct characters, and it's been so long since the IP existed
Sure.
that the nostalgia alone makes up for it. There weren't a whole lot of characters in Killer Instinct to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, all the characters that
We're missing like Fulgore and Combo and Cinder, and that's almost it.
Yeah, those are the only ones I can remember.
And there was a raptor. I can't remember the raptor's name.
Oh, fuck it. What's his name?
Is he a hip hop raptor?
No, he's not. He's a fucking eat your face and shit.
Yeah,
out
he's
raptor.
kind of a huge asshole.
He was not a rap raptor.
No, he was not a hip hoppopotamus either,
Damn it.
or a rhinoceros.
Damn it.
Um,
Missing all these opportunities.
But there were very few other characters in the game. It's already a limited list to pull from.
Parappa
And they
the
also
Raptor.
that's a good one.
Paraptor the Rapper.
That one also could work.
Yeah.
But fucking
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
We can't-
If
we
you
can't-
got a combo breaker!
we can't talk about game value with me. I spent $30 on 2 hours of gameplay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so
And I spent $40 on a game that I literally played for the rest of the night. I mindlessly played the survival mode,
Mhm.
which you can play on whatever difficulty you like, and I just decided, I'll play it on normal since I haven't had any real experience with the game other than the tutorials. And 15 supreme victories later, and 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, man, I gotta go to bed. I've got work in the morning.
Supreme tacos, and 2 hours later.
Supreme
I do
victory
love-
basically means that I didn't get my first bar burned down before
Right.
I burned down both of theirs.
Yeah, and then Dustin fucking pulls me over and is like, hey, come check out some Killer Instinct. We'll do a fight. I'm like, dude, I'm bad at fighting games. He's like, no, check it out. This
I
is how
just
you
wanted
do
to
a
show
combo. And I did combo, and then I fell out of my combo, and I was like, can you just end this already,
And then I
please?
murdered him.
Actually, I did better after you started trying and were actually moving towards me than I was doing when you were just letting me punch.
Well, that's
you.
true, but that's because you can't continue a combo if you're not
He was like,
connecting.
hey, here's this roll. And I was like,
He's bad
what?
at rolls.
He's bad at rolling.
One thing that
I
I've
became
noticed-
I became mediocre at MK9 because it's all forward backs and stuff, and I'm really good at dive kick because that's a complicated game.
one thing that I have noticed is that it's a lot of roll to forward and roll to back, and not a whole lot of like double tapping forward, or there's not a whole lot of complexity to the actual moves themselves. The complexity is solely based on the strength of your attack, which affects its speed,
Yeah.
and which combos you use or which moves you use to expedite the combo.
If I recall correctly, which I do,
Combo breaker.
Killer Instinct was not a complex fighting game to begin with.
No, but it had more.
The game was built around button mashing. That was the point.
Sure,
the
but
point was
but
the game,
Spinal
the,
had like
the
had
game,
like the double tap forward shield smash.
Well, yeah,
and he doesn't have that anymore. Like
he's
they're
not
most.
Out yet.
No, he is. I have
Spinal.
Yeah, not Cinder. Cinder had the double tap forward flame. Yeah. But there's not a whole lot of double taps or like actual change in the controls. It's mostly rolls forward and rolls back. It's just where their ranges are and things like that. You have to
all I want is to do DL Ultra at my face, and you best believe
Ultra. If I
ever own that game, which I won't, I'm switching back to the original caster because that new guy sucks. The new screamy guy.
Oh yeah.
You have the option to go back to KI Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just keep it on Classic and be like, you never change this again, Double Helix. If you do, I'll find you.
Yeah. Well, that's why they give you the option.
All right, Keith, you had a thing that you remembered real quick when I started
about the
my
smart
penis.
glass.
Yeah, one thing briefly. It wasn't exactly the thing I remember about Killzone, but it did remind me of something of Metal Gear Solid. One thing you could bypass the whole not being able to fucking have your map and hold guns at the same time is the Sony PlayStation app, which is basically just smart glass.
Right.
You just use it as your map.
There you go.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what I did with the Fable Anniversary Edition.
I stole my mom's iPad and downloaded it, and like your menus and stuff were integrated into the iPad.
Yeah.
So I could I still had to look off the screen, but at least I have to like switch back to anything if anything like popped up.
Yeah, you still have your weapon equipped.
Is that the point where you pull out duct tape and just duct tape the iPad to the bottom corner of your television?
I might consider that. it would help. It would help a lot. Yeah, the Shadows Fall thing I still can't remember.
All right, Dustin, you got anything else?
Pixel Piracy, which I figure will bridge into yours.
Woo! The only new thing I put. Well, I played some. I went back and started playing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer again.
Oh yeah,
because that's still fun.
Is it?
I'm surprised people still play it.
I didn't like it.
You can
mostly because I don't like Mass Effect.
Over the course of it, they put out like a fuck ton of new classes.
Totally missed my joke.
Yeah, too much talking. Listen, there's not that much talking in the wave-based survival modes. Anyways,
I thought it was more of a joke to the fact that Never mind, go ahead.
Renegade.
Metal Gear Solid. All it does is talk.
Okay, there we go.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks
I'm not going to spell it. I'm not going to spell the next one out for you.
Thanks for reeling that one back in for me. Like, all right, let me back this joke up and just roll it past you again. See if you get it this time.
I'm going to put it in.
No, you didn't.
I'm going to put it in low gear. See if you got it.
Wave-based survival mode is no fun without Grunt Birthday Party.
Yeah, well.
Also, very. Relatively accurate.
So yeah. I've been playing a lot as my
especially if you have a skull on.
If
you have a skull on during the campaigns, like you want to break your immersion anymore? Grunt Birthday Party.
Yep,
it's true.
Headshots, all the headshots.
So I was playing as my Geth Juggernaut, which is I think the one class that plays completely different from everybody else because it can't sprint and it can't take cover.
Jesus.
So you're just this giant lumber, and your run speed is slower than everyone else's run speed to begin with. So you're this giant lumbering motherfucker, but your heavy attack will deal damage to the opponent over time, and if they're smaller, like humanoid size, will lock them in place while also refilling your shields. So you just Thuggernaut into the middle of everybody and just start like shield draining in front of them. It's like, yeah, okay, guys, I'm going to stand here. You guys want to shoot these guys? There's kind of a lot of them. Oh, please hurry. Because it gets to a point where you're tanking like two of the super soldiers from each faction, from a faction, be it, Banshees or, Atlases or whatever the fuck you're fighting against. Right. And then, like, 3 more little guys show up. And you're like, you guys are on the other side of the map. I can't really think that there are that many guys over there because I have most of the waves surrounding me right now. So if you could hurry up with your shit dickery over there, that'd be great. Really appreciate it. Please start shooting these guys. So yeah, that's still kind of fun. I don't know. My galactic readiness.
Yeah. I never gave Mass Effect multiplayer an honest chance, mostly because I never gave any of the Mass Effects an honest chance. They were boring.
You're bad.
They were boring.
You're bad.
They were boring.
They're kind of boring.
They were fucking boring as shit. The best part was probing Uranus.
They're delicious.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously, Commander.
Seriously, Commander.
The first time
they
it's
are
always seriously, Commander, and then the second time it's probing Uranus.
Yeah.
So upset with you.
I gave the first one an honest chance, which...
Should give the second one an honester chance because Mako.
I can't even say I get the first
They
one on
put
it.
out a T-shirt that was the N7 Hill Climbing Club.
I played it for like 30 minutes, and I was like, this combat's boring, this whole game's boring. Done. Go. Moving on.
You suck.
I don't like third-person cover-based shooting.
You suck.
Except
Except,
really stupid boring. Sit
Army of
behind
Two.
cover and shoot at things. No, well, see, I didn't do that in Army 2, though. I was
That's
aggro.
true. Yeah, he was the aggro guy.
I fucking stood there and blew everything away while
Yep.
you killed everyone.
You're bad
True.
and you should feel bad.
No, I'm not going to feel bad. There's reasons to not like that game.
We had fun.
So Pixel Piracy, it's the newest on the list of games that aren't technically done yet.
Man, that's a fun alpha.
So
You're not even supposed to be playing alphas. What are you doing, developers? You're fucking it up.
well,
It's more like a
we paid
open
like
beta.
$11 for it or something. So it's like $15 currently full
Dude,
retail.
back in the day, alphas were in-house only.
Yeah, I
No
know.
one saw alphas.
I know.
It's more like an open beta.
And betas came on floppy disks,
Yep.
like 8 of
Yeah.
them. You know. So it is
Back in the day of DOS, remember that shit?
Yes.
Windows 2.1,
Yup.
Windows 3.1, but yeah.
whatever. That was, dude, I was like fucking 6.
C
Fuck you.
:/Warcraft. Oh.
Tides of Darkness.
So Pixel Piracy operates on a 2D plane.
C:/Oregon Trail.
Nah.
And that's it.
No,
That's
you
all
play that
ever
on your
play
Apple
ever.
too.
You play, Oregon Trail's on an Apple.
So anyways, Pixel Piracy, again, operates on a 2D
Not letting
field.
you talk about this.
It's fun.
And you start off as your captain, and you can learn skills and stuff.
You get a couple
And you
questions that base yourself,
Yeah.
you and your
Yes.
world. It
You
kind
are
of sets
really
up you
good
and
at
your
keeping your phone not on the floor.
Shut up.
Sarcasm.
So your dude has multiple different stats. Strength increases damage, vitality increases armor and hit point regeneration. Intelligence increases the amount of points you get from level to level. I think it's dexterity.
Training points.
Dexterity increases your ranged damage and the amount of experience points you get. Luck increases your crit damage and your event frequency.
I
And then
only
there's
put
one
my
other
points.
that I
I
can't
only
remember.
put my points into intelligence first for increased talent points every turn.
Yeah.
Once you get up to 15 talent points a level, you really don't have any reason to go any higher. But this asshole is at like what 27 or something
No, it's not that.
ridiculous.
It's not that far. It's like almost 20.
Yeah.
I have like 300 intelligence on my character. It's kind of dumb.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
and
and the
then
other-
you
I have
can
3
get
intelligence on my character in Dark Souls. So not only does he die, he does it to himself.
crew.
It's pretty cool.
So
Critical fails.
Yeah, just headbutt a brick wall. Fuck it. I made it at a starting area and just like sunk in the river and died. He was dumb as a brick.
So the other thing that you use TPs for is learning additional skills.
Mm-hmm.
So your map is a grid-based map, pretty much, where you have technically 5 different things.
Grid based how?
Grid-based, like you go in directions and then
Wait, hold
cardinal
on.
directions.
What
only.
is the genre of this game again?
That's tough to define.
It is an RPG.
It has roguelike elements in that you can die, and your dudes can die, and they're dead, and stuff is randomly generated.
Hold on.
But it is largely an RPG.
How does the combat work?
You say, "Hey, go fight those guys," and they basically walk at each other, and they deal damage, and then one of the big factors of the game is the knockback, because pirates can't swim, so if they get knocked back into the water, they die.
You're gonna have to explain that better. Walking at people and then fighting.
well,
is
it's-
very,
They literally walk at each other and then bounce
Hang
off
on.
of each other as
Hang
they
on.
attack each other.
The
How
best
does-
way to describe it is whatever your weapon is has an attack speed, and when you tell your person to attack, they attack every time they can on that attack speed.
Okay, now I get that.
It is an
Now-
auto attack.
Now, how do these people that you are fighting against each other interact? Like, how do they get to each other to fight
They walk at each other.
They walk, yeah.
on this grid?
No. This is okay. So it's got an overworld map that isn't a grid view.
Okay.
All the locations are
The locations operate on a 2D plane, and they are just an expansive island or boat that you walk along.
It is either an uncivilized island, a civilized island, or a boat.
And the boat you build sort of Kingdom Hearts style, where you would build your ships and stuff, where it is all block based. so you can pretty much design whatever you want.
Huh. So, this is not a turn-based strategy RPG.
No,
No.
Good. You almost lost me.
No.
I fucking hate those.
No, this is a real-time strategy kind of RPG.
Thing.
It's a
it has-
real-time
it has no-
indirect action.
Right. It has
game.
no skill elements. Well, no, I take that back. Your skill elements are entirely based on what you choose to train your characters with. You can get skill books. I've taught my captain how to parry. So sometimes he parries, and then I also taught him how to counterattack. So sometimes he'll parry and counterattack.
So you teach them how to do things, and they do all the work for you.
Basically. Well, I mean, you have to command them to do certain things.
They also do all
like
of the
attack.
dying. For
Sounds like my kind of game.
It's a lot of fun.
One where I don't have to do work.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You build your ship, and if you put sails on your ship, it gives you increased speed. If you put a captain's wheel on the ship, it gives you increased speed. If you teach your captain sailing, it gives you increased speed. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is this a pirating game?
yeah,
This is a pirating game.
Okay, maybe.
it's pixel piracy.
I mean, that can mean anything.
I mean, yeah, I suppose.
Okay, so we got some crews
Yep.
and some things. Why is his name Jameson McQuaid?
Because
That's
I
what
made
he
his
named
name
him.
Jameson McQuaid.
What's awesome about this game is you can change the name of your character at any point. All you have to do is click on the name. You can change your name, any of your characters that you pick up's names.
Cool.
And I like that level of customization.
Fight people. I want to see all this.
Okay. Well, you also have different stuff that you can equip, passive equips as well as your weapons.
It's okay. That looks like he's using a rolling pin.
It's a longsword.
Okay,
But yeah,
Nice
this
contour.
is a rock.
sweet.
He throws rocks.
And
I like rocks. Concade.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is what it ends up looking like. Just go over here.
So
This is really great for the audio.
So you're clicking on the grid, and then you sail to the destination. When you get to the
Right.
destination,
And
it
as
opens
It
up-
prompts you to save game every
as
time.
you sail in between points, you are still gaining experience on
Okay.
your crew members. They will gain a small amount of experience.
Which is
just
why you
by
pick up
sailing.
Fast Learner really early, so that way whenever you're sailing, you get a little extra experience.
Okay. And now what are they doing?
They're sailing,
They are
currently.
kicking shit off board to keep the ship clean
Oh,
which is another
okay.
thing you have to train them to do.
because they poop.
Oh, okay.
That guy just shot
A cannon.
a cannon at these guys because they're cannons. So this is the main ship-to-ship combat: is people will grapple over
And murder everyone, or get murdered, depending on how well you spec your
hack at
dudes.
each other, and that's okay. You guys need to.
So what
They're
did
drowning.
What did you actually have to do for any of that to happen?
Just right-click onto their ship and
Yeah.
left-click. Right-click controls your crew. Left-click controls your captain.
So there is some things you actually have to choose to do.
Correct.
Because the way you guys
also,
are describing
the
it,
rest of this crew, the 3
Uh-huh.
guys that are still standing here on board,
not dead.
I've turned off their grapple behavior so that they do not go after her.
Oh, okay. So you always have
onto
somebody on the
another
ship.
Yes.
Okay.
The fighting is not entirely automatic. You have to be on either the ship or on land with the enemy
Right.
for them to auto attack each other.
Right. Because
But you have to direct them to do that.
What I
first.
was thinking
That's the
of was
only
like those
instance.
wave-based games where you basically just like build towers against the side of
Right,
the
right.
enemy's tower, and that tower just spawns endless waves, and then they
Right.
butt heads, and whoever butt heads harder gets to the tower and kills
Right.
it.
The exception, the thing about this is
And you say
really
I pull
build.
out some weird indie shit.
Yeah, you build your crew. like your
I've
crew.
been trying to step my game up.
Yeah. Your crew is
Step
entirely
harder,
100%.
son. I got you. Got your number.
Yeah. Your crew is 100% what you make them.
Right.
When you pick them up, they have different characteristics. Like one might have been a pirate before, one might have been a ninja. But that gives them their opening characteristics, and how much you pay for them typically has a little bit to do with how many points they have and what level they end up being, things like that. But everything after that point is your customization on that person. If you give them a bunch of intelligence so they can get a bunch of points really fast, which is the only real reason you should, or the only real way you should play this game, because if you have 1 point and you keep using it every time, you're kind of dumb.
Okay, I can dig
Yeah,
it.
and what's cool too is even the crabs give you kill experience, and
Even
the
the
oysters give you kill experience, and you can get pearls from them. You collect booty, and
I
you
do
sell it to
like
people.
booty.
Yeah, you there are different islands. Different islands have different things on them, like a deserted island like this has a couple of villagers on it, and you obviously kill them and take their money.
Okay.
But there are also towns, and the towns might have ship goods and food, but another town might have weapons and books.
Because all of your guys have their 3 basic stats, which are their hit points, their morale, and their hunger.
Uh-huh.
If their hunger hits 0, they will start starving to death, and they will rapidly lose hit points until they get their hunger back up or die. If their hit points get low enough, they obviously just die. If their morale gets low enough, they will just turn on you in the ship and mutiny and start trying to fight you.
Yeah.
And kill you.
Which is hilarious when you've got people with longswords, because longswords have the chance to do 2 times damage. So if you want to see somebody get murdered real fast when he turns on the crew, man, I saw RJ's crew mutilate a guy once. It was pretty hilarious.
Pretty bad. Also, depending on the danger of the enemies that you go after, you start encountering new difficulties. Like, once you go from Danger 3 to Danger 4 currently, you will start experiencing other ships that have cannons on them.
Okay.
And I have had situations... That's sort of the part where the game sort of breaks for me right now, is that level of ship-to-ship combat, because there have been times where...
He doesn't have enough cannons.
Shut up. There have been times where I have sent my boarding crew over to their ship, and the combat happens so quick that my ship sinks, their ship sinks, because they go from shooting their opening volley at me, hitting enough times to start sinking my ship, and then they shoot their own ship because my guys are on their ship and end up sinking themselves.
Alpha.
Cool.
So everybody just dies.
I mean, for what it looks like to me, for an alpha, it looks pretty clean.
It's pretty fleshed out. It's a lot of fun.
And they've already added stuff in the short amount of time that we've had this.
Yeah.
They've added additional
Perk
they've added
system.
a perk system and stuff.
right.
The and on top of that, anytime you're at port in a town, you can rebuild your ship, customize it, add deck walls and things like that, cannon walls on the decks. You can add weights, so your dudes will just get stronger, or go over and lift weights while you're going through. Books, so they can get more intelligence. Weapons, so they can train themselves.
So your captain's dead.
Yeah, he's pretty dying here.
You can get a specific training book that allows one of your characters to be a first mate.
So that when your captain dies, the game doesn't just instantly end, and you get somebody to step up and replace him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there's I mean it's like a Sims-y kind of RPG
Thing.
Yeah, I mean you have different elements that you have to take care of with your dudes, but you also get to build them and make them. You can have guys with guns or guys with throwing daggers, or RJ had a guy who had a knife
specifically on your ship to cook and clean.
Yeah, RJ had a guy
And man the
specifically with a
cannons.
knife that was completely leveled up.
It's true.
And it was
Because the knife
super
had
fast.
the knife had a 1 second attack speed, and then I was just like, here, have a bunch of damage on top, have a bunch of strength points. So instead of having a big heavy weapon that only hit a couple seconds but did a bunch of damage, he would just shiv the shit out of people.
Yeah, like really fast.
And the bigger the weapon, typically the larger the knockback. So hammers will have a pretty significant knockback.
And they
Whereas
bleed.
this dagger
They make you
is
bleed.
like, hey, you're not going anywhere. I'm just going to keep stabbing you right here. Look out, Red! I gotta practice my stabbing.
And the you add a ranged weapon to it. Once you get a couple levels in, you can pick up a couple ranged weapons.
Or
and
rocks.
Rocks are considered a ranged weapon, and it doesn't inhibit your normal attack speed.
It's basically just an additional.
It's just an additional attack at a different attack speed.
Cool.
So it's a lot of fun. We've wasted a lot of hours on it.
It looks like it.
Yeah, you completely and totally get caught up in this game.
Pixel Piracy and Rogue Legacy joining the, oh my god, why does this look so 8-bit? Why is it fun? Pantheon of
Because they
stuff.
can.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
You guys got anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
We want to do news. We want to do news from a couple weeks ago.
Well, I've got some interesting news.
Go on.
I got an interesting
The
point.
Xbox is
Xbox
putting
One.
the Xbox One is putting out a software patch
Okay.
sometime soon.
I thought it was last week.
It might have been last week.
Did you patch since last week?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways,
I know.
what's it do?
Well, one, they put out a software patch for Titanfall where you could download the patch to your controller, and it makes your sensitivities better.
Right, it's the dead zone.
The dead zone adjustment. Yep, that was pretty cool. I got it on my main controller, but I haven't gotten the Titanfall controller done up yet. But the new software patch is supposed to be something that enables the Xbox to run better and more properly allow them to 60 frames per second. Like instantly.
No, more importantly, 1080p.
And 1080p 60 frames a
Yeah,
second.
it's called DirectX 12.
Yeah, DirectX 12. That's what it was. Yeah, it was the DirectX 12
Something
patch.
PC's been doing for years.
Yeah, so they're actually putting out a DirectX 12 patch for the Xbox
Yeah,
One.
basically the notes on the patch was like, this is so we are like one step closer to basically competing with the PS4's hardware.
Right.
Because we can't do it with our hardware, so now
But
we
we
have to
can
learn
do it
how,
with software.
Now we have to learn how to do it with our software.
Right.
So the first thing they're doing is like, well, let's get DirectX 12. Because now with DirectX 12, they can run like different shaders that PS4 can't do and stuff like that. The only real issue is it's going to get them closer to rendering current stuff they've been working on in 1080p.
Right, and I mean, as
it's going to make up for the
progress-
horsepower that they don't have in
right.
the console.
As things progress, you're probably going to see some more of that. I like what Xbox has done so far with their, hey, we've got a software patch to fix this thing that people were worried about. I like that they're taking that into consideration, and I like that they're able to just do that. They're like, hey, guess what, guys? Software patch.
Yeah.
Have fun with this beautiful new thing.
Well,
I mean, it's basically driver update.
I was going
right?
to say,
Exactly.
considering the fact that we bought underpowered PCs, like this is not.
Oh, sure.
This is not a revolutionary thing at all to me. This is a driver update.
Right.
This is a patch.
Very much.
Like it's DirectX going, hey, our DirectX works for your machine now. Here you go. And us going, cool, thanks.
Did you say you had a point about something?
And then it was about just another game.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember we spoke on briefly, probably not briefly, extensively on when I was playing Blacklight Retribution on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the beta on PS4 now.
Okay.
It's super still duper exciting. It's definitely beta though. a lot of the functionality from the PC still hasn't made it over yet, like the ability to rent weapons and stuff. If it's in there, haven't found it yet, but I've already dumped way too much time on that. I've put more time in that multiplayer than I did Killzone. Killzone's multiplayer really do fucking fun. But there's something about Blacklight. It always gets me.
Okay.
But anyways, that was it.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about news from like a week ago.
I don't want to talk about this.
Because we didn't do news, and I didn't.
This is
feel like,
actually kind of sad.
I didn't feel like going through. Oh yeah, you think I'm not fucking upset about this?
Well, I know you are.
Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt delayed to 2015.
Dude, your PC can't even run it.
Fucking, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I bet it can.
Tanking it.
Eh.
A PlayStation, be able to run it at intended specs.
Well, you know, maybe by 2015 I'll buy a new fucking graphics card.
Yeah.
I guess I've got time now.
Well,
Yep, there you go.
With that
They're
job
just giving
and
you-
stuff.
They're just giving you time to
You got plenty of
properly-
time to get a job, save some money, throw some shit at your computer.
Have a child.
So you'll quit having to
put them through college.
You'll quit having to like murder goats to get it to work every day.
Yeah.
Notice the local goat population has been recovering. Your PC might be working pretty well now.
It's the chickens that gotta look out.
Oh, right.
So yeah, they're talking about pushing The Witcher 3 back because I've seen a bunch of stuff about this at this point where it's like we got a 100-hour storyline, we've got this and that. Our game's going to be 20% bigger than Skyrim.
Yeah.
Bold claims.
Yeah, in relation to this, I once again sat down and tried to give The Witcher 2 more of an honest try, and I'm still having difficulties. That game, it just bores me to fucking tears. And
Shit.
The Witcher 3 better do something really shiny to make up for it, because I don't want you basically hitting me with a fucking manual on how to reprogram my entire car every time I open the fucking menu.
That's true.
That's not intuitive to me at all.
Listen, they're foreign.
Look, I know somebody with the fucking disc copy of The Witcher. I've seen that game manual. That is terrifying.
Yeah, it's big.
That's PC gaming.
It's not small.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We've definitely left those days of PC gaming behind, I think, for the betterer.
Oh, so there's a Wii U mod that came out that allows them to play GameCube games.
Yes.
Why?
Best thing ever.
Because that
Because
that officially made the Wii U have one of the best catalogs in gaming today.
Yeah, exactly. Are you kidding me? You're telling me I can play Resident Evil 4?
Yeah. Who has to wait for a new Metroid Prime when you can play the 2 good ones that already exist?
Yeah.
Get you some other M. Wait, no.
Fuck other M.
So apparently a little bit ago, which is going to be the fucking basis of all of these stories because they're at least a week old, a Xbox emulator, or not emulator, fucking what am I saying?
Isn't an Xbox simulator just like a PC?
Shut up. Driver support for Xbox One gamepads has been released for PCs.
Unofficially.
Right.
But whatever. Who cares?
If it works, it works, dude.
Yeah.
It
plugs in with a micro USB.
I used my
That's
fucking
super-duper
PS4
handy.
controller on my PC for the first time.
And you were like, wow!
It works extremely as intended.
Well, yeah, didn't they? Wasn't that one of their things from the
Yeah, it was
beginning?
one of
It
the
was
things.
just like,
Sony was just like, it just works. And I was just like, I don't believe you. So I plugged it in, and it was just like, bleep, bleep, bleep. Drivers installed. I was just like, fucking right. So I basically just like, I took, it was funny my reaction, because I was, my buddy James was over, and I was like, dude, this works. And he was like, really? And I just like picked up my Xbox controller, and I was like,
done with
and just
you.
dropped it behind me, and just like started fucking around with, I was playing The Witcher at the time, actually. Because I found out playing that game with mouse and keyboard's really frustrating.
Yeah, no, you play that.
Which doesn't make sense to me, because the first one was a fucking exclusive.
Well, that's the thing, is the first one's controls are also very different.
Really?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
The first one is basically timing based Diablo.
Oh, well, way to fucking cater to the console fucking audience. Dickheads.
I think it works fine.
Yeah, that's what
Anyways, this is not super huge, but I think it's cool because I like these guys. The Walking Dead and Mark of the Ninja developers are getting together and making a game. And that sounds fucking exciting.
Called Firewatch.
Firewatch. Only you can be Smokey the Bear. And a decision morals choice game that is side-scrolling.
Oh, cool.
With murder. I doubt any of those things are true. But
It looks like it's a game where you watch out for fires and then put out fires.
Man, all of the things that they have told us about this, I think we could have passed this story, because it's literally told us nothing about it.
Well,
so
I'm
what the
excited
fuck
about
do
those
I
two
care?
putting together from doing things.
Why does it have 35 gigabytes of uncompressed audio?
I forget. I read this a week ago.
Found out Titanfall has a gargantuan... Well...
I haven't had any problem with it.
No, it's for
just
PC.
PCs, though,
yeah,
right?
I was wondering why my download is almost a 50 gigabyte download on PC.
Yeah.
I had to basically partition half of my hard drive to fucking fit it on there.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Forgot about that. Oh yeah, so the Steam controller's not.
They fixed it.
They put buttons on it.
They
and
fixed
shit,
it.
and aren't making them fucking weird pads anymore.
And they're not making the controller ungodly expensive by having a capacitive touchscrin on it.
Yeah.
Way to go, Valve! You're still thinking. This is why I like you.
So you probably know more about this than I do. What did they like? What did they just put like thumbsticks on it
What do you mean?
with the controller? What else?
No, that's it.
No, that's it right
That's
there.
it right there. You're looking at it.
It was.
It has a D-pad and 4 face buttons.
Oh, okay.
Instead of it used to have a capacitive touchscreen with that was like had 4 quadrants in it, basically
Right.
used as buttons, and then it had 4 buttons on the corners of that touchscreen. And everybody was just like, these haptic feedback thingy-majiggers are pretty cool, but what the fuck's that? And why is it on my controller? And so everybody that was playing with like the demo of it basically it had a fucking, instead of having a touchpad in it, it just had 4 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's just like, so why don't you just fucking put buttons on it? And Valve was just like, yeah, I guess you're right. And it makes the controller much more easy to program for, because it easier fits games that have already been released with console or with controller support for like 360 pads and
Right.
stuff, without having to shoehorn more touchscreeny shit in it. And substantially cheaper.
Yeah, which
Nice.
is important.
Yeah, which is super important.
So apparently,
This looks hilarious.
People have accidentally been buying things on the PS4 because they've been using their DualShock 4 to play games on their PS3.
How?
Which sounds to me like they're accidentally turning on their PS4 while playing games on the PS3, accidentally navigating to the store and then buying shit.
How? If I was Sony, I would refuse. I wouldn't offer a refund either. You're being fucking stupid. How do you even do that?
The right...
Well,
a
sometimes.
million monkeys with a million typewriters.
It's been known for a few months now that it would help if you read the article. because reading it, people are using the DualShock 4 for their PS3, which
Right,
can
that's
be
what I
done.
said.
Yeah. However, what you're about to read might make you rethink what you're doing in the future.
Oh, because I get it. It's connected to both at the same time or something.
Right, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah, it turns out
the way that you said it,
the
was
way
kinda
you said
weird.
it was just like
I didn't get that at all. From
Yeah, I
what you
didn't
said
Playing
at all.
games on their PS3, accidentally turning on their PS4s, navigating the store and buying things. Was that not?
No, because you didn't say because
I didn't realize you were referencing the fact that
They
you
were
could play
both on
both
the
at the
same
same time. I thought you were saying like people thought they could use their
Typically,
PS4
when you
controller for the PS3. which
typically
they
when you
can.
connect something to
Right,
something,
yeah.
it disconnects itself from the thing that you were playing with before.
It's
So
not entirely true. My TV
typically.
my TV remote turns on both TVs in my room at the same time.
well, sure.
It really pisses me off too. I'll have to put a blanket in front of the other TV so I can turn only one off.
But the original Xbox 360 controllers, if you
fucking
connect it from one to another, it doesn't stay connected to the old one.
That's fucking silly. That's super silly.
So people are getting bit again because
This is
they're
the
dumb.
second time this has happened.
They're dumb with this. Well, the first one was okay. So we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 PC shit again. The first time was a bunch of people going onto the internet and the Pirate Bay and shit and being like, "Oh, look at this! Copy the game that came out." Well, now people are getting sent emails that say, "Hey, welcome to the beta, motherfucker."
Well, see, that's the thing. I heard that the thing was supposed to release in June because of this. No. That's like a week ago. I heard a couple people were getting email invites to the beta, and because of that, people were thinking, "Oh, the release date's going to be in June
Yeah, it's viruses.
or July because they're starting to put out beta invites and viruses."
They haven't even put out a tentative development schedule for
Right.
the fucking PS. Why would anybody? Oh my god.
Because they're dumb.
Because people hope beyond all hope that they could have hidden it some way.
Okay, here's the thing. If it's a core group of PC gamers that are just waiting for it to come out on PC, you have two fucking options. Go to one of your many friends that own one of the best-selling games of the year and fucking play it, or B, go out and buy a $90 Xbox and a $60 game if you really don't want to wait that long. Because you're still coming out ahead because you have a shiny new console and a badass game.
Yeah.
All right? So I'm so over... Because I was one of the guys that was just like, they need to port it to PC. I want to play it on PC, blah, 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 blah. Grand Theft Auto games are super fun on PC. Mod the shit out of them. Like, it's always fun. But
It's like-
this
it's
is
the same way with
fucking
Elder Scrolls games.
nuts. like the backlash that Rockstar is getting, and Rockstar is doing the right thing, going, dude, fuck you guys, we do what we want.
That's not us. Wait until we say something
Right.
about stuff,
And
you
like,
idiots.
Like, fucking everybody's just like, it needs to come to PC, and Rockstar's just like, it doesn't need to go anywhere. We'll put it where we want to.
Yeah.
You know that Red Dead Redemption game that everybody loved? Still no PC port for it, so
Yeah.
fuck off. We might not even do it.
They probably won't.
Well, every Grand Theft Auto to date has been on PC.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto, yeah. Red Dead.
No, Red Dead won't. No, fuck no.
All right, so one last piece of news that's super funny, which is why I saved it. Pikachu gonna be
Official
Japan's
mascot for the World Cup, sucker.
in 2014.
I'm so excited.
Dude, I'm excited.
I'm so stoked. Like, I hate that Pikachu is the Pokemon chosen for pop culture.
Well, along with 10 of his pals, apparently.
None of them who I care about.
That's a Bulbasaur,
I like
Squirtle,
I like
and
There's a
Charmander.
Charmander.
Man, fuck Charmander.
And a
I'll blow
Meowth.
bubbles on
Listen,
that.
there
There's a Meowth.
aren't any more starter Pokemon up there.
Frogadier.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's from fucking X and Y.
But that's
And that guy's
and
from
you
X
know
and Y.
what? That I was gonna say.
And that guy's from X and Y.
It's literally from the originals and then X and Y.
And Meowth.
And Meowth.
Well, Meowth was an original.
Meowth gets his stuff.
And that looks like a Teddy Ursa. Kind of.
No.
No, that's something else. Oh, sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
You guys are nerds.
Yeah.
I like Pokemans.
It's Meowth.
Dude,
Pokemon's are fun.
you're calling me a nerd. The fucking first time this dude's ever been at my house, me and him sat down. He has his fucking copy of Pokemon Red, which he had a 2-hour head start on, mind you.
Fucking goddamn running shoes.
I had Fire Red emulated on my phone.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck
I
it.
think I had more like a 4-hour
Yeah, it
head
was a
start.
pretty substantial
And then
head
I
start.
think you caught me in like 2 hours.
So I sat down and I was like, well, I have Red on my phone. I haven't started it yet. You want to just like hang out and fucking eat Pokemon? Or play Pokemon?
eat Pokemon and play
Yeah,
Doritos.
my mom, like, I have food. My mom will feed us dinner and stuff. And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? So we just literally sat in my bed for what was like 5 hours.
It was a while.
Like 5-6 hours playing Pokemon.
It's like
and then I was
3 or
just
4.
like, I was just like, hey, I got the running shoes. He was like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. And then I beat him to getting the bike.
No, I had the bike, and then like an hour later, you had the bike.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I got the running shoes, I basically
fucking
just sped up
stank.
and caught up to him. And then once I got the bike, because on this version, on the Fire Red version, you get the fucking... when you get the running shoes, and then you get the bike, and by the end point of when we stopped playing, I think I was like a badge ahead of him at that point. He was pretty livid.
Well, it's
Back in my day, we didn't have goddamn running shoes.
And that's what he
you
said.
don't run in the house.
And that's what he said for
I
like
had
an hour.
I had
We're eating
emulated
dinner just like fucking running shoes.
I had emulated the original Red on my PC,
Uh-huh.
and that you can just press a button for turbo and go like 100%
Right,
speed.
you just turn the emulator up to like 250% and just go.
You want to beat a game really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Twitch did it.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
for Twitch.
It took them a while.
well, and
They did
then
it.
they beat Crystal.
I mean, they fucking did
Did
it.
they
though.
really? They
Yeah.
beat Crystal? They
Yeah.
must have done it really
Oh,
fast.
they beat Crystal quick.
now they're beating. Well, it's because they turned on democracy mode. Every 10 minutes, democracy mode automatically turned on.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah.
It's the only way anything was going
A
to
lot of people were upset about it.
Yeah.
Well,
They
yeah,
beat,
but the only reason it was fun
I
was
gonna
because
say,
there was
they beat,
utter chaos.
They beat Red legitimately. Somehow chaos. Well, yeah.
No,
there's
they
few
turned
times-
on-
Democracy got turned on eventually.
But
They turned
But
on
they
democracy
did
mode.
face bash against the final four until they just won.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. I watched the Twitch Plays Pokemon stream for like 3 hours one day.
I mean, the only
I
reason
was like listening to music and checking back on it. I was
the
just
only
like, they're
reason it
still
was
in,
any fun was
they're
because
still in fucking Pewter City, like with their thumb stuck up their ass, walking around in circles.
the only reason
They're
it was
still
any
in the
fun
Team
was
Rocket
because
building.
it was a
Still.
perfect it was a perfect example of exactly what the internet is.
It's been a day.
Utter
They're still in
fucking
that building.
chaos.
Dude, they were in the fucking games. They were in the game corner.
They
for,
pissed
like,
they pissed
2
people off
days.
so much with that because people were just like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna hit the most random
You
shit,"
gotta go get the fucking coin case.
and people were trying to turn it off and like
Oh god.
delete things.
The
and-
plea for democracy when they went to the Safari Zone.
Dude, I remember
was extreme.
everybody got pissed off when he had to the dude running the stream had to restart it because Twitch had made him basically release all of his Pokemon but one.
yeah.
And it was like a level 3 and couldn't do anything with it, so he was like, I had to restart. And everybody was like, oh, why'd you restart the stream? He was like, well, because Twitch sucks.
Because you're dumb.
Because the internet.
This is why we can't have nice things, guys, because you just release them.
Yep. It's like, once you release your starter, you're fucked.
Alright.
It's about like the corner point of the game, and then you realize that starters really suck with fucking IV threads and Evo training. And I know way too much about Pokemon.
I'm going to call it before Keith makes my brain hurt with the Pokemons.
Look,
So,
there's this thing called breeding.
I'm going to go back and kill some more pirates, and Dustin's... I'm going to kill pirates,
eat.
you're going to kill pilots, and you're going to...
I'm gonna go home and kill Dupe.
There you go.
Kill pies.
Kill Das Dupe.
This has been the Slashplayed Podcast for this week. Join us again next
I'm
week.
gonna electrocute him with neon.
Say goodbye, Keith.
Goodbye, Keith. Yeah.
God damn it.